We're live.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Otter Players Podcast, episode 58. Hmm, made it to 58. Very surprising. All right. We're here to talk about what we didn't get to talk about last week, the big news that happened in gaming, the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. Very fun. Our South of Midnight impressions from those of us who actually got to play it. And of course, Marathon just got revealed, about 2 hours ago. So we're going to talk about exactly how we feel about Bungie's new IP. But let's start off. Weeb, how are you and what have you been playing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking, Morgan.
Of course.
Uh, yeah, I've been playing. Man, it's been 2 weeks, right? So, I finished Pirate Yakuza. Got the plat.
Whoa, congrats.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
One of the few
thank you,
plants
thank you.
when it comes to Yakuza.
Well, I think the last ones are pretty doable. Like I have them. Yeah, I think I have like 3 or 4, but yeah, the previous ones were pretty annoying with all all the extra shit you had to do. Yeah,
The
like
mini games. Oh yeah.
learn the rules of mahjong or
Yeah,
shogi or the fucking rhythm games. Like I fucking suck at those. But
bowling,
yeah,
you name it.
oh
Karaoke.
yeah, yeah. Karaoke was always my bane. Yeah, because I could never get those high scores, but I don't know. For some reason, I can do them now, but I don't know if is that's they made it easier or I just got good. Um, but yeah, I mean, really enjoyed it. It despite the fact that it was a shorter experience, it still took me quite a while to finish it because there were a lot of side content to do. Yeah, it's pretty much the same map as Infinite Wealth, but you also have some islands you can explore. The yeah, Matlantis is pretty fun. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the franchise, I'll absolutely recommend it. It also does, despite being a side story, does progress the plot a bit, leaving some hooks for what's gonna happen to Kiryu, as well as sort of answering one unanswered question from eight. Um, uh, yeah, so yeah, and it's a lot of fun to play. The getting back to the action brawler combat with a you know almost like character action like twist because you can jump. And yeah, of course, the ship combat. You have a ship, pirate ship, yeah, obviously. And yeah, you can load it up with like crazy weapons like laser cannons and flamethrowers and all the crazy shit. Yeah, it's pretty well developed. It's really fun to fight ship battles and can get pretty challenging. If you want to do all the arena fights, you do have to upgrade your ship and your crew because obviously you're also going to fight with your crew after you damage the ship enough for you to board it. And they're all sort of modifiers there. You can level up your crew. You have support crews who can heal you and or stuff like that. So yeah, lots of depth to the gameplay. So yeah, again, highly recommend it. Other than that, I've started with Assassin's Creed Shadows, though didn't make a lot of headway there because there were other games coming out, including South of Midnight. Um, I've played, I think, up until I think I'm on chapter 3. Um, but yeah, uh, it it's safe to say it didn't quite live up to my expectations. Maybe I should have known better because Compulsion Games, yeah, I mean, it hasn't delivered much yet. So it just feels, like I mean, the sort of stop motion art style is that's pretty cool. But in terms of gameplay and story, it doesn't really have a lot to it. Like it does. I guess we're kind of spoiled with having all these great narrative driven games from Sony, where you just see it done so much better. And yeah, if it had some compelling gameplay that you didn't see before, that would be fun. But it's nothing really special so far. So I'm also not entirely sure if I'm going to finish it because it is you know it is basically busy work. And there's like I could hop back to Assassin's Creed, for example, which I had a much more favorable impression of from playing the first for like the prologue and the first mission. Um, but yeah, too early to give my full impression on that. And I also played another Game Pass game, the Blueprints, which also came out recently. Um,
The
it's
puzzle
yeah,
game, right?
it's a puzzle game. Yeah, I still trying to kind of figure it out. It is basically you're sort of have to explore a house, but you can uh, basically you can create rooms. Like you decide, okay, there's a door here. What's going to be the room? Is it going to be a corridor or a bedroom? And each room has sort of certain abilities. Like a kitchen, you can buy food. You basically have a limited amount of steps you can take every day. And when you run out, you have to go back to rest, and then the house resets again, and then you have to yeah, basically try to build, I guess, a path towards the room that you need to reach. And you can collect, keys and gems, which you can use to create certain special rooms. Um, so I guess there's basically the point is that you explore enough to get all the items you need and enough resources to eventually reach that end. But yeah, I played didn't play enough to really figure out, okay, well, what's sort of the end game? How do I get there? I do know there are some stuff outside of the house you can explore, like a very stupid fenced off orchard, which has like the lowest fence possible, but because your character is vertically challenged, I guess you can jump over it. A padlock on the the gate, yeah, is basically blocking you, even though you should basically be able to just jump over it. But whatever. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's sort of what I'm playing. So yeah.
Yeah, sounds like you've been playing a diversity sweep of games. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, I see you. All right, Omar, how are you, sir? And what have you been playing?
What's up, everyone? Yeah, oof, close to 3 or 4 Metrovania I've beaten. To be so here's the thing: 2 of them are small, or rather short, like 5 hours each. Took me around 10, but I love farming, so there's that. Um, all of them I do recommend, but I mean it's Metrovania, so yeah. Some of them are quite old, Ghost Song, old Metrovania. Um, Another one is the Super Roboy, and lastly but not least, Twilight Monk. And every one have them their own theme, and I do recommend them. Right now, I'm playing Void Route, which is another Metrovania, and apparently it's supposed to be a short one. So here's the thing: I beat Start of Midnight, and the entire time I was playing South of Midnight, I was like to myself, I want to play Forspoken. I was this close to starting Forspoken
I did,
after
I did,
beating.
I did not have that urge, by the way.
Yeah, me neither.
I I wanted so again until I found out that Expedition 33 coming out literally in a week, 2 week or something like that. So there is not enough time to stop for spoken. So I'm
You were
biding
just
my.
kind of looking to trade one black protagonist for another, huh?
That's not it.
Oh, damn.
No, it's just
I'm
to
just,
me.
I mean,
It's
I'm
no.
kind of looking at I'm trying to figure out because there's really no correlation between the two
Oh,
besides the fact that they both star black female protagonists.
the correlation is games that got hyped up and then
Mm, okay,
uh,
I'll let you believe that's what it is. Okay, go
didn't
ahead, Omar.
live up
Continue.
to the hype. Welcome to the Metacritic. I want to see what the fuss is about because I played the demo for Forspoken and I got hooked. So I want to see because I played Start of Midnight and you know what my stance is. We got to talk about that later. Um, but for Spoken, I need to beat the game to give my full impression of were they right or were they not right. With Start of Midnight, they were half right. But yeah, it have absolutely nothing to do with the main character. In fact, I love the main character from Start of Midnight. I like her. I like her voice acting. I like her personality, character design wise. She's cool. It's just the game didn't hit well for me as it should
Okay,
have.
all right.
You
I
want to
mean,
talk about
nothing
it
wrong with
now
that.
or is that on section?
Oh, I would like to, and make my introduction. That's okay,
Go
Omar.
ahead. No. Go ahead.
Thank you. Um, well, I don't know if Nate's back yet. But I'll just go. So yeah, we've been gone for about 2 weeks. So what have I been playing? I have been playing still Assassin's Creed. I realized that, and I'm pretty sure I said this last time, but a lot of the things that I was doing in Assassin's Creed was not geared towards ending the game. If you know anything about Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft, you know they have like a lot of filler, a lot of fluff, right? A lot of open world side missions that can, open up other side missions. And the way their skill tree and world tree works, or objective tree, I should say, is that it kind of just branches out. Like, you'll run across another NPC and that'll open up another path of different side missions. And it's just a never ending thing when it comes to Ubisoft. And I was doing a lot of those. And when I realized, okay, what is exactly that I have to do to finish the game and, get the platinum, because that's what I want, the plat for this game, I realized I was doing like everything but that. So now I'm trying to do more of a steered path towards the ending and the plat. And so I still have like a lot of cleanup I have to do. But I'm still enjoying my time with it way more than I did with Valhalla. I was just, as I'm gonna keep saying, I was just not a fan of Valhalla. Um, but I really enjoying my time with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Um, and they just recently they're still updating it. They recently put out the update for the PS5 Pro to enable PSSR, so that's great for the PS5 owners out there, or PS5 Pro owners, I should say. But yeah, um, I think I'm about 80%, 70 to 80% done with the trophies. So hopefully I will be done. I say this every week. Hopefully I'll be done by next week because Expedition 33, as Omar mentioned, is coming out in about 10 to 12 days. So I have to wrap these games up before I start this next great open world JRPG that we got going on. But yeah, I'm also playing. The reason I haven't really played Assassin's Creed in a couple days and kind of paused on it is because I've been playing South of Midnight. I didn't play it in the early window. Like if you bought the Ultimate Edition or you paid the upgrade pack on Game Pass, you could play it 5 days early. I didn't do that. Just waited. I have Game Pass, so I just waited for it to come. And I've been playing it for the past 3 or 4 days. I am on chapter 7. I believe that's what I was doing. I was playing it like right before the show started, and I think I'm on chapter 7 as of right now. Um, Yeah, we'll get to our impressions, but so far, it's okay. It's straight. It's not bad to the point where I'm like wanting to turn it off or don't want to play it or anything. I'm engaged enough to kind of want to see where the story goes. So, but we'll talk more about that a little later. But yeah, South of Midnight is what I'm currently playing. So those are really the two games that I'm kind of focusing on. I'm trying to get both of these wrapped up, like I said, before Expedition 33. So that's really what my main focus is right now.
Hell
But
yeah, the RPG of the year.
yes.
Absolutely. Look who's back.
And Nate, can you give us your intro, or are you still kind of busy?
No, Priscilla's driving, so um, yeah, I can go ahead. But yeah, I've been playing right now. So many games. Xenoblade Chronicles X is the main game uh, that I've been playing since we've been on. Last time I've also got the platinum for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was an absolutely phenomenal game, start to finish. I loved everything
Congratulations.
about it. Thank you, thank you. Hoping that Ubisoft puts out a ton of really quality DLC. I'm really hoping that I know people got their things about Valhalla, but one thing I loved about Valhalla is the extensive DLC and like
Yeah.
how a piece of the DLC could be like another 30 hours. And like the content, and it's not just 30 hours of nothing. Like, I mean, like high quality story, some of the other assassins coming back, stuff like that. I'd love to get to see that in Shadows. Um, so I think that would be really great to see. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed the game. For me, it's like an 8.5, between an 8.5 and a 9 out of 10. The game was just really great. Like I said, I just want more of it. Um, and then I'm also finishing up Suikoden 1. Everybody knows Suikoden 2 is my second favorite game of all time. So we had the remasters come out, and I've been working on finishing that as well. And really, all this is, like Morgan said, in preparation prior to Expedition 33 coming out, because that's the big new team in the room that's really putting out something that looks really epic. Looks like a lot of people are going to try it. Picking up, of course, the Lumiere edition for PlayStation 5. Um, but yeah, I wanna say that's it. I mean, I've been consistently also playing Fortnite, but that's like random. I never really mentioned that because it's just so random when I do it. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it for me. But yeah, it's been a good time.
All right. See, I love to see the crew gaming. All of us playing a bunch of different things, but coming together to talk about it. It's always great. All right, let's get back to the first topic. I guess we'll do a little kind of brief discussion for South of Midnight because I know, even though I guess most of us in here have played it, um, I think only Omar is the only one that's finished it. So, I guess we'll kind of do like a quick little discussion about it. I guess not getting into too much of detail because we don't want to get into spoiler territory for those who do decide to finish the game. But Omar, since you finished it, I'll let you go first. Like, how are you feeling about South of Midnight?
So, I came in with a lot of hype, and from story standpoint, it does that well. At some point, it doesn't. Um, when it comes to the gameplay, it's not, how do I say it? It's passable. Like, the good thing about it is you're not always constantly fighting. You're also exploring. So that helps take off the boring part, which is not the gameplay. The gameplay is actually cool. The boring part is running through the area 3 to 4 times to make sure you found every nook and cranny, because there is no actual evidence that you've been to this place unless you know where the glow part is and you found it and it disappeared. And especially because this game tell you how many stuff there are in a certain area, once you go further in the map, you can't access the map previously. So before you continue, you need to make sure you explore. And because there is no indication, like for example, chest, open chest, that you see that you found yourself, you explored this area. You, I found myself literally running past that area 5 times. Maybe that's just me, but that was tedious, beyond tedious even. Especially because I wanted to make sure I get every single skill. And in order to do so, I need to make sure that I collect every single relic. Also, I didn't want to miss out on the health upgrade, cause not gonna lie, the later boss fight gets so difficult, especially the final boss, which I'm not gonna talk about it. I'll talk about it offline when you guys finish it, cause that needs a spoiler compensation. Besides that, side quests are fun. Like I went out of my way and did them, cause I care about the story. One of the best things they did is integrate the past with the future, and I truly like that about. And what I also like is how they gave you a lore, explained it, and make you relive it. And yeah, um, it's fun. Um, voice acting phenomenal, believable, passionate, like they nailed it. Visual normal, like it looked good. Glitches, bugs, a few glitches here and there, but nothing that major. The weakest part, in my opinion, is leaving emotional moment without capitalizing on it. Especially after you go out of your way to collect every single manuscript for the lore, only when you're done to just move on and not talk to the other person what you discovered.
Okay.
Yeah?
I don't know. I was gonna say I agree with you. That was like I said, I'm only on chapter 7, but that was something I felt I didn't like. I'm
Like
not
it
gonna say
felt
what it was.
lacking,
I'm
right?
not. Yeah, it's like the first area or the first person that you clear,
Yeah, I know what you're
that you
talking
clear their
about.
trauma.
Yeah.
You clear the trauma, and you know I'm thinking, okay, we've done this thing, we've healed this person. Now we're gonna talk to them, confront them about what they
Precisely.
did, and maybe get a resolution out of it. Like they told us something happened, so we figure it out as we go. We're a weaver. Our job is to cleanse the and fix the weave of time, like the that connects all life. Essentially, our job is to heal the trauma of the world, right? And so we're walking around, we're talking to people who have gone through traumatic experiences, and our job is to try to help them and heal that experience, right? So the first area that I walked to, the first person, I talked to them. They don't really tell us directly what's going on. We got a sense of what it is, but people don't like really to disclose their trauma, especially to strangers. So we go out, we figure out, we get bits and pieces through like the glimpse of the world, what exactly happened to this person. And so we're cleansing the trauma, we're going step by step to put the story together to figure out what happened to this person. And then we get to the end, we understand what happened, we cleansed it, but then we never went back to the person and talked to them about it. I found that very weird. I was like, okay, we figured out what their trauma was. Now we can talk to them, tell them that we've done this. Like, hey, we've helped you to heal. We figured out what happened in your past, so now we're coming to talk to you about it. But after we completed the clearing the trauma, we just left to the next section.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know if like, and please don't tell me yes or no, Omar, because I know you finished it. But I was just wasn't aware. Like, okay, I was like, maybe we're gonna come back to this character like later, or maybe it's a thing where we heal everybody and then they all come together at the end and we talk about it. But I was just very it just feel like a lot of things were left unresolved. I was like,
Yeah.
I was expecting, especially with something so traumatic that happened in the first part of the game, that we would talk to this person about it. Like, that's not something you just kind of skip over. Like, okay, we did that. All right, we're going to the next one. Bye. Like, we just
So
never went back to this person and talked to them at all. I was just,
yeah, I forgot to
uh,
mention there are significant amount of trauma in this game. This game
yeah,
is not for fatal. I actually thought maybe this game is for kids, but the
no.
topic that they cover, absolutely not. It's
Yeah, they talk about some real world problems,
yeah,
some
yeah,
real
yeah.
traumas that go on with people.
And
Yeah,
I'm not talking politics. I'm talking significant hardship, and it can get you like it get you emotional, so you're
yeah.
emotionally invested, and then they blue ball you. Like, why didn't you give me you gave me the information? Why am I not talking to that person? And
Yeah, especially after that first one. And
it
I know you remember what it was. I was
I'm not
like, we're
gonna
not gonna talk to him about that.
I'm not gonna
Like,
say anything, but yeah, it's this is the between this and what you call it, the no indication that you've been to the area. These are the issues that I genuinely have an issue with. It's not the combat. Again, people are fixated on the combat. The combat is passable. It's fun. I've seen a reviewer says he ran through the game. You can run through the game without upgrading. I'm like, on easy, yeah. On normal, absolutely not. Like
I
I
mean, honestly, you can honestly do it on any difficulty if you turn on the accessibility feature to skip
upset
combat.
about. Yeah, I didn't think about that one. Cause do it normal. Like nah, they get you. And another thing I saw people complain about is um what you call it, the variety of enemies. I'm like, I think they intended to do that because they wanted you to be able to finish the game. Let me explain. The game, the combat is literally in a closed off area. So this is not an open area a la God of War where you have room to jump, dodge, all that jazz. Like now, you're closed off. Not only that, every single enemy that they introduce doesn't even fit on the screen. So they had to not recycle them, select them. You kill certain enemies and then other appear. Out, if they had more enemies, you would have been so lost. Which enemy does what move? You would be destroyed because this game is not easy. Like, especially when the biggest issue with the combat is basically the camera. You don't have a good indication for where the enemies are. They get out of your blind spot, and the only indication is a red arrow coming near you. And by the time you dodge, most of the time you've taken damage. You don't know what type of red arrow is gonna be. You don't know if it's gonna be magical, you don't know if it's gonna be physical. So I think this is why they didn't want to overwhelm you with too many enemy types. Like you know me, I love to I love my variety, but I'm absolutely okay with this one because it's a linear game. But outside what Morgan said, which is uh, a story left unresolved, be prepared for that. I will not say anything. I would say that sadly they don't even explain why she has her power. I'm like, but aren't you gonna explain to me why you're able to do what you are doing? Who is the Weaver? How does one become Weaver? No one explains. Like when I rescued what's his name, uh, the fish. You know what I'm talking about. I
Yeah,
love the
catfish.
fish. I love the fish. The he told me he's gonna teach me. Nothing of a teaching ever happens.
I think his teaching style is just go do it and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I'm like, you're not gonna explain to me what a weaver is. You're not gonna explain to me how I got my powers. How does one?
I mean, they explain what a weaver is.
Yeah, they did, but they didn't explain how you become a weaver. You just are a weaver, which to me, I'm like. Also,
I assume
is
from
another thing is her powers are not earned. None of it are hers. Like, you know how she got her powers? None of it are her powers. If,
wait, what do you mean by that?
um, I mean, if you don't go to where you need to go and grab the sticks, you wouldn't have got them. Like, yes, she see what you call it, the yarn, but she is not supposed to interact with it. She is,
I don't agree with that because
she is not a,
she. I
but
mean,
she
you
is,
don't become a weaver just with the sticks. You have to have the power already.
yes, but they
The
never
the
explained how to manipulate the stitch without it. And this is like, to me, it feels like,
I
I,
mean, because if you read like the notes that are around, you'll see that. And I don't. Again, this is a lot of spoilery things,
yeah,
but
we're
the
gonna
notes
go,
kind of explain um
I,
that kind of give an explanation as to why she can wield it or stuff like that. Like you kind of got to read like the notes that are
yeah,
out there.
actually, so I think with this game, we need to do, what you call it, a spoiler cast about it. Because it's
Yeah, maybe.
interesting. It's interesting how it is. I'm curious if you feel that way right now. I'm curious how you're gonna feel when you beat the game. And we'll leave it at that. But yeah, for me, I was torn between a 6 and an 8. So I
There's a
went,
big
I
gap
went,
there.
I went with a 6.5. I think it's the blue balling when it comes to the side quest is so terrible. And them not explaining why she got her powers and all that stuff. To me, it felt like, yeah. I don't know if it is a budget issue, but it feels like this game you're playing part 2. You need to play part 1. Or rather, they needed more either time or something. But yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from. That's crazy, man. That's the Xbox tax. Um,
I wanted
but
to love it. That's the issue is people gonna say
I know you did.
Xbox tax and they're not gonna listen to the nuance of everything that I just did. That's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
issue.
I know this was a game that you were highly anticipating. Yeah, we've talked about it for a while, so
Like
I know what you're feeling is genuine.
me and you, we were literally, this was one of our most anticipated game next to Expedition 33.
Yeah,
So if it's for anyone that stung, that stings, that this one didn't deliver, it's for both of us. We're absolutely hurt by it.
yeah. For those who are just tuning in, we're talking about South of Midnight, first party Xbox game from Compulsion Studio. It's a third person action adventure where you play as a girl named Hazel, and you are a weaver who is a magic user who essentially can see the grand tapestry, which is like the connection of all the universe. And your job as a weaver is to keep the tapestry, together. The tapestry can tear through things like trauma, people going through trauma. The more trauma in one area, the bigger the negative energy in that area that you have to clear up. So that's essentially what we're doing right now. We're clearing up the trauma in our town, while also looking for our mom that we lost in a storm. So, very interesting premise. But let's go ahead and go to Weeb. Like, I know you didn't finish it, you didn't really get that far into it, but you do still have kind of an impression of the game. So, how do you feel about South of Midnight, Weeb?
Yeah, as I said, I'm feeling just like you guys, a bit disappointed in it. I mean, of course, it's your own fault of having a certain level of hype for something, but I mean, from what we've seen, it looked good. But other than, like I said, it's compulsion games. I mean, what have they done? And the Xbox tags, of course. Um, that it kind of feels like Xbox is really not adding nothing to these studios to be better. Um, but yeah, like I'll
You would
give it a
think they
try.
would have
See,
thrown money at it, right? Because it's a new IP and they wanted to succeed. It
nah, I think I'll give him that. That probably compulsion games wouldn't be around anymore if they hadn't been bought by Microsoft, because they don't have a successful track record that much, at least not as far as I know. But yeah, I mean, like it's not it's like not what we were hoping it would be. It's uh serviceable at best, I guess. It like I said, gameplay. Yeah, it passes as gameplay, right? But it's not broken or anything. But it's not necessarily you know anything special. Let's say it's not enough to just get you through the game on that alone. Um, and the only thing that sort of is still sort of giving me an incentive to continue is the art style, the concept of it. That's still
Yeah.
appealing, but the like, yeah, I mean, you guys are further in as me, but it doesn't surprise me what you're saying, that it doesn't really pay off, anything. It doesn't, like the
is we
beginning, like
happy if
when she.
you the same?
Hmm?
Is we happy if you the same?
No,
No.
that's a very different game. Yeah.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about uh, from compulsion. Is it as well? It doesn't give a good payout. Is that why you're saying you're not surprised?
No, I'm not surprised based on what I've been playing so far.
Ah, on that end. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because the beginning was like, I'm like it's almost like every game is trying to mimic The Last of Us, because I had sort of this when you start in the house, sort of these,
Um,
oh yeah,
that
they're good. They're
that
going for that kind of vibe. You
I
explore the house,
I'm
you
not
can
gonna
interact with
lie.
it.
I don't. That's a weird correlation to make, but okay. I never felt that way, but hey, you're on the opposite one.
It's the specific way like the camera pans when you walk around the house that kind of gives that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Last of Us vibe. I see what you're saying. Like
Oh, okay,
that
yeah, the
slow kind of walk
beginning.
you do.
The beginning part. Okay, I got you. Where you need, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah, no, I felt
Just like
that
old
way.
girl did
I, I
Joel's
actually,
daughter.
I actually tried to look for Easter egg or something like that, but I found nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, is it is sort of um I mean, of course, it's not, at least not supposed to be AAA game, but it feels like it's trying to uh do a bit more than what they might have done normally, but it's not quite there yet. Like it's very bare bones in a sense. Like I said, like there's really not much to it. Like you explore, you find some shiny thing or some a note you can read, but it doesn't feel that rewarding, at least from what I've played. And you can see, based on the way the dialogue is written, sort of these nonsensical interactions with people, that it's gonna be for a sort of story driven game, where, and especially like you guys said, it's about trauma and trying to solve that. If you don't really pay that off, you don't really do it very well, it's going to be very uncompelling uh, uh, in the end as an experience, because it's just like, yeah, I could have written that. It's not, it doesn't feel like, um, yeah, very interesting enough sort of to say, hey, oh, should I spend my time on trying to complete this, right? Which is also why I'm still kind of in dubio, if I want to complete this. I mean, uh, I haven't reached a point yet where I say, yeah, I'm gonna just completely drop it. But like, if it doesn't satisfy sort of that that nudge, me, like, I don't know, me, for me, I'm really, like I said before in the intros, like yeah, Sony has spoilers in terms of, so what is possible in writing games. And I'm not saying that that's exclusive to them. I mean, there's
No, no.
absolutely fantastic
I truly
third
believe
party
if
games
it was a play
that
taking
do that.
game, it would have had bigger budget. I look at Kena as an example. How much they created, what they did with Kena, the amount of budget they gave it, and the bigger game Kena is compared to Compulsion. Like that, I truly feel like Microsoft failed them when it comes to this one.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, like I said, they don't add anything to it. The only thing they're doing is basically, yeah, we own you now, so yeah, sure, yeah, yeah, we make sure that you don't really, you don't have to worry about uh, where you're going to get the funding from, because we're your publisher, but and we also decide where the games go. But they don't add that extra, that spark that Sony has, a synergy that they're creating. That that's the whole reason when Microsoft is buying publishers, because they really don't know how to do that, and it
But the
shows
issue is,
because with
this is
these
literally the second game that we are let down by. First time was Hellblade 2, and now this. It's like, are they trying to tell the developers, make games bare bone as possible, try to spend as less money as possible? I don't know.
I don't know what
No.
their directive. I don't feel like this game is in that sense, again, so far hasn't been shorted I think it just got the budget, that appropriate budget. But they this game could have been more polished if they had that synergy. Like, if they just, like, with Sony, like, okay, yeah, we're gonna swoop in some people from Naughty Dog, some people from Gorilla, from Santa Monica, adding their expertise to it, helping them get better. And I'm not feeling that here. And again, it's not the fault of the game or of compulsion. That's sort of the way Microsoft is. Um, and they are, unfortunately, one of the first studios that were bought. Sort of, I do feel like these studios are left a bit hanging, because they're not part of a big publisher that can, sort of manage the things that they have been managing before. They're dependent on Microsoft to manage them, and they're not really doing that. And that this is, the end result is that, yeah, you're gonna, if you're lucky, you're gonna, get a game out that's functional, that's not, a bug riddled mess. But you're also gonna have a hard time releasing something that's, special, that sort of, without, having to glaze it or whatever, admit, oh yeah, this is something really really good, that's a must play, that you're missing out if you're not playing it. And now and yeah, that's sort of the problem, of course, with Microsoft, aside from their lack of ability to manage these studios, is, yeah, they have Game Pass. They have a very different model of how games are made, what they're made for. They're made for filling that surface, and yeah, maybe you were right in that sense, that in that sense it throughput is much more important than taking the time and polishing. The fact that some of these games do take a lot of time has more to do with the issues that they encounter, and that Microsoft isn't really able to help them there. That they're taking this long instead of oh yeah, we just want to give them that extra polish so that it comes out as as good as we can make it, right? Which yeah is obviously a concern in the sense that yeah, what they still have in the pipeline, yeah. I personally, it does sort of lower my expectations because I had quite high expectations of this game. I thought, yeah, maybe they're gonna do it with this one, and now, yeah, I'm gonna, be like, yeah, maybe it's gonna be. I mean, I'm gonna try because in Game Pass, but maybe it's gonna be good. But yeah, I'm not gonna have any high expectations there because yeah, this is kind of sort of the par for the course for Microsoft, and it's unfortunate, but it
So
is what it
Game
is.
Pass is killing their game.
I
I
think
have no idea what you're saying, Omar.
I said is Game Pass killing their games.
Oh, Game Pass. I thought you said gameplay killing the game. Like what the hell? Yeah, no, Game Pass definitely. I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum in previous podcasts. Like, yeah, Game Pass is definitely has a detrimental impact on this. It changes how games are developed. It changes the motivation because if you have to sell your game, I know again, it's not. I'm not faulting compulsion there. I think this is more like Microsoft. Like, yeah, you don't really are not necessarily interested in putting in that extra effort to make sure that game is going to be as close to perfect as possible because yeah, you're not aiming to sell it like putting in the extra money there isn't gonna increase your revenue there because it's gonna be in Game Pass anyway. While if you actually were like Sony or everybody else basically are more concerned with selling your game, day and date, full price, getting as many people as possible paying for it. Yeah, then yeah, you can decide. Okay, I want to spend some extra money to polish it because I don't want this game to basically get slammed in reviews or get or not getting noticed, right? I mean, if people are seeing the game say, "Oh, this looks so amazing," I haven't seen this before. It's like setting new bar, in terms of whatever gameplay or game technology you're using. Like, yeah, of course, you're gonna do that because that's a way of maybe changing the possibility of a game becoming a hit or a flop. But you know, if it's gonna go in the service anyway, yeah, sure. You do wanna make sure that at least not detrimental to the service, as in people are not gonna be uninterested in it. Like sure, you would like to have a great game that maybe people who are not yet subscribed want to subscribe to it, but like they said, like their growth they've sort of reached the number of gamers they're going to reach. So at this point, it's more about keeping those people rather than getting new gamers. And there, the bar is a lot lower there because you don't need to have the WoW game. You can just as long as you keep giving them content, it's like oh yeah there's going to be a game in the next couple of months. I'll keep my subscription, check it out, maybe it's good, and and if people play it and don't finish it, it's Microsoft doesn't really care. They just want you to keep playing long enough for them to oh yeah the next one is coming. So you know
They got
I'll
your
keep my
money for Game
subscription.
Pass. They don't care.
Now they care that you keep paying. That's the thing, and that's a very different way of developing games, or at least supporting those games and support those studios. And yeah, it's you reap what you sow in that regard. But again, back to the game, like I don't think it's a bad game. And again, I'm very early in. Like I don't know how many chapters it has, but like I guess 3 is probably a bit too early to make a final judgment. But I do see, and what you guys are talking about, I do see sort of yeah, the cracks already in the game. Yeah, I'm expecting this because of the way the game is written, the dialogues, which is nothing to say with the performance, but just the way they're written. Yeah, I'm not really feeling it at the moment that they're going to be sort of some profound change somewhere, or it's going to have some really high notes in terms of emotional impact. Like I'm not surprised that you're saying, yeah, there's not really much resolution or to solving somebody's trauma. It's just it's basically just a tick box. It's uh, really gamey in that sense, and not really paying a lot of attention to the emotional impact, which yeah could have saved the game, uh, in my opinion. Because yeah, if you have that extra thing, then it doesn't matter if the gameplay is not challenging any conventions or really anything revolutionary. You can't have all the basic elements of any game of a particular genre, but make it excel by having that extra thing, that great story, emotional impact, characters, etc. But yeah, then you need to hit that, and if you don't, then obviously you're gonna just go use a spreadsheet. Say yeah, okay, yeah, gameplay, pretty average, graphics, okay, yeah, and then you end up with whatever score you're gonna get. But yeah, then you could, like Omar said, like give it a 6.5, because yeah, it's just not doing that extra thing that could have elevated to an 8. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, and again, said I'm holding my final judgment if I can push myself to actually finish the game, or at least get far enough where I say like, yeah, okay, now I'm hitting a point where I'm like, yeah, I have zero motivation to finish this. And sure, that's also a judgment, or a way of valuing the game. Like, is it compelling enough to finish? But yeah, I'll give it a shot. But again, my initial impressions are less positive, to say the least, than what I was hoping for after seeing the initial reveal.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I know you as a fair gamer, you like to give a game a shot before you give your final judgment.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah, yeah.
That's what we all do, eh? That's what we always try
yeah.
to do. This is why this is so frustrating, because we all wanted for it to work, and it sadly Microsoft have showed us time and time that they're not in it for the gamers.
Yeah, I mean, we have to remember that compulsion games, and also, as you were speaking about earlier, Omar, Ninja Theory, Xbox, they bought both of those studios around the same time in 2018, right when they were on the make or break point of whether Xbox was gonna sink or swim, essentially. And they bought these, obviously because one, they were cheap, because while they make good games, they make the smaller kind of budget games, right? So they were something they could scoop up quick and cheap. So not that's not a
I got
slight
you.
at either Compulsion or Ninja Theory, but that is
The
that's a
reality.
good way to a reason that they did pick them up. And I think that essentially now that fast forward to 2025, Xbox is kind of looking at a much different strategy than they were back in 2018, right? In 2018, they were just trying to get as many studios as possible. They just kind of started trying to get and generate Game Pass, and they were trying to pick up any kind of studio that they could to kind of make Game Pass work. And now, like I said, fast forward to now where they've got like these big publishers like Bethesda and now Activision. So their focus is a lot more different.
So they
So
have a
back when they were
different
they were
toy, and this is why the current toy is no longer that much
yeah, well, their
impressive.
their their strategy is just different now. I think they're more looking at the bigger picture and bigger games to kind of hold in Game Pass now. It's the same reason that we've heard from smaller developers that with the Xbox, what was it, Wire or whatever they call their program for their indies, that it's not as good as it used to be anymore. Like the incentives aren't as great as they used to
Oh,
be.
ID at
It's
Xbox.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. I did Xbox. That used to be, the incentives to get in with high. Xbox would reach out to a lot of different developers. They would do a lot with these developers, but now they're not as much anymore because they have their own games. They have a plethora of studios now, so they don't really need to do that anymore. And I kind of feel like with these smaller studios they have, they're kind of um not putting as much focus on because they're more focusing on their Obsidians, their Bethesdas, their Activisions, now they have that plethora of studios to kind of build up on the Game Pass. And now that's not saying that they're completely like ignoring studios like Compulsion or Ninja Theory, but it's just like I said, their strategy is a lot different now. And I just kind of hope that this doesn't negatively affect either of those studios. I mean, we kind of saw what happened with Hi-Fi Rush and that studio. It Even with the high praise and the great scores it got and the awards it got, it still was not enough to keep the studio around. And even though it was beloved by a lot of Xbox fans, it's just like at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. So I'm just kind of hoping this doesn't affect Compulsion. I mean, as we've stated, Compulsion hasn't really been their batting average hasn't really been good. This is their highest rated game so far. I think We Happy Few got like a 60 something, and then the one before that, I think it also got a 60 something. So this
We Happy
stuff,
Few definitely reviewed rough.
yeah.
So
So I think this is their highest rated game so far. So I mean, that is a good sign that I guess now that they're under Xbox, they've garnered a higher Metacritic and they're doing better. But it's still, is it enough to keep it around? Is it enough that they get another chance with Xbox? I hope so. I want as many studios that make these smaller games to stay around. I love indies and I never want them to like get shut down or feel like they have to reach a certain caliber in order to stick around. I'm not to say like I want like just garbage games, but I don't think this is a garbage game. It's just I just hope Xbox allows them to kind of continue to make the games they want, and with the smaller type of field. But yeah, Nate, I know you were kind of in a similar ballpark with Weeb, that you didn't really, you haven't really gotten that far into South of Midnight, but I don't know if you have any thoughts on the game.
I mean, yeah, like I said, like I mean, I've enjoyed the bit that I have played. I mean, the game first and foremost looks really great. So definitely don't want to understate that. Like from a
Yeah,
visual
absolutely.
standpoint, they knocked it out of the park. The art style, um, I know specifically, Omar mentioned the voice acting, but it's not just particularly the acting; it's what they're saying.
Yeah,
When you're from the South and stuff
yeah,
like
the
that, and
colloquialism. Yeah,
yeah, a lot of
very
the
very on par.
colloquialisms and the way her mom gets on her, in the beginning is, I mean,
Very very
every
black mom.
black child from the South has heard. I know you didn't just suck your teeth, like like
Yeah, I've definitely heard that multiple times in my life.
yeah. So like hearing that, and then when she
Yeah.
was rolling her eyes,
Yeah, she's like,
the
I can
whole thing.
feel you rolling your eyes. Like, yeah, my mom has definitely said that to me before, and I definitely was rolling my eyes. So
Oh,
I don't know if
absolutely.
mothers just have like this intuition
Damn,
where
our
they just
moms,
know.
do black mom have superpower or something like that?
Man,
I mean,
you
they
would
kind of
think.
do, to be honest. Like, I one time that I ever said anything like, as far as like profanity towards my mom, it wasn't even like towards her. Like I whispered it, right?
No
Like I was
way.
mad. Like I can't remember what the argument was, but I was pissed, and she walked away. And I swear to you, I whispered like the word under my breath. She came running in. What did you say? I said, wait, huh? She said, I heard you. I was just like, there's no way. There's no way. But yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
That's all facts.
Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, like I said, man, it's been like I said, it's been enjoyable. Like regardless, like I said, I'm enjoying the game. Um, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not a
it's
bad
okay to
game.
just release a solid game, right? Like no one's
Yeah.
saying it's like it's not, right? Like that's like been the big issue for a lot of gamers lately, is just having a hard time accepting when a game is just a solid title. Like it's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Like I said, they've got some standout things. Like I said, graphically, art style, they nailed it. A lot of the music, again, nailed it. Um, like I think they're gonna get some definite accolades come towards the end of the year. I don't know about the whole, like I said,
Game of the
everybody,
year?
a couple people yelling game of the year, like contender, like that's kind
This
of
is
wild.
a
Like,
My
very
issue with
packed year. I don't see that happening at all. Like
no,
it's gonna be a crazy race to figure out who even gets a nomination this year. So
yeah,
no offense to South of Midnight. I like you said. I think it's a solid game. I just don't think it's gonna be up there as far as the game of the year category.
yeah,
my issue is when you
yeah,
say something like that, don't you want to play a genuine game of the year contender game? Like, why are you not only lying to yourself, but disrespecting the game itself? Don't you want the developer to learn from their mistake, what they did with Sound of Midnight, and fix it? Weren't you, aren't you as well affected by being left without any conclusion when it comes to the storytelling that they literally introduced to you? How do you gonna call it? This is why I hate this whole
Listen,
game of the year
I
crap.
mean, I'm not gonna tell anybody that they can't have this as their game of the year. You know, we all have different tastes. We all have
I
different
get
games
you
that we
on
like.
that.
You know, your favorite game might not be. I might hate that game. Like you love Days Gone. I think that shit is trash. But like I'm like again, we all have different tastes. So I'm not gonna say anybody like if they think this is their game of the year. I'm glad they found their game of the year.
oh yeah.
I'm
You
glad
can
they
have
played it,
your personal,
and I'm
but
glad that you feel that
yeah,
way. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. Like that's your opinion, bro. If this is your game of the year, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got to
all I'm
experience it.
saying is just slow your roll. Slow your roll. It's freaking April. Slow down. Like we got the
This is
rest
why
Oh,
I
of the
don't
hate.
hate,
year.
man. I'm just a little, you know,
I
don't hate,
hate
man. You
why.
know, some good games.
I hate why it's used for console war. Instead of just,
Yeah,
understanding, accepting that it's a good game and keep it moving. You want to talk about nuance? We can. But if you just don't want to parade it because of console war, get the fuck out of here. Nobody got time for that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And to your point, and you know, you made a good point about it. You know, people get upset when you know, like a game just can't be a solid game, and I think that applies to both ends of the spectrum. Like some people get really mad when a game isn't a 10 out of 10, right? And then
yeah,
other people get upset when people don't look at this game as a 10 out of 10, you know. So it's just like there's nothing wrong with just having a great solid game. Like I've had a fun time with just games that I consider just a solid game like that. I'm glad I got to play that. I enjoyed my time with it, and I'm moving on. But I don't regret playing this game. It was solid,
No, it's
like
not
you
bad.
said. So it. Omar, I'm not talking about you, bro. Like,
I know,
you're
I know.
making this about you. I'm not talking about you. But it's just yeah, like you said, there's really nothing wrong with the solid game. But yeah, go ahead, Nate.
yeah. No, but yeah, like I said, what I've played so far, I've enjoyed it. I get some of the criticisms from some people, like actual valid criticisms, not talking about people yelling random crap on the internet, like things that people have brought up. I mean, I read some stuff from some actual credible critics who have had points that they brought up about, the arena, the combat arena being the same every single time you fight, kind of that same enclosure, and that kind of feeling, uh, that in particular feeling a little repetitive. I have to see, like I said, I'm not far enough to really see how fleshed out the skill tree gets. You know what I mean? Because that's a big thing for me. When you do have a skill tree, I want it to be really fleshed out. I want to feel like I'm constantly getting emerging mechanics as I'm playing the game. So like I said, I won't no full judgment yet on anything. I think what I've played though, it's a solid game, and so on and so forth. So I'm really enjoying it. Um, but yeah, fun funny fact, real quick on a sidebar. I see we got fun somebody fun in the chat today, but to answer their question, in all honesty, no, I don't think Concord is Marathon is Concord 2.0. They're completely different games, and if Marathon dies, it'll die on its own merits and for its own reasons, and it will have nothing to do with Concord. That game is irrelevant to Marathon. It has nothing to do with it. and they're not even remotely related. So no. Um, but yeah, like I said, as far as yeah, South of Midnight though, like I said, I'm really enjoying it thus far. But yeah, I think it'll be just a solid title. But I also know myself as a gamer, so I know what I will expect from the title versus what some people will get out of it. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with it being your game of the year, but I think some people definitely need to reserve that conversation for like
Yeah.
November, you know? Like,
Yeah, there's some people taking it a little too far and getting upset when people don't agree with that.
yeah.
It's just
Like I'm like, people can think it's a 7.5, like that's fine. Like you'll be good. If you think it's a 10, let it be a 10. Like for you,
listen,
like,
listen. My game of the year last year was like Stellar. Like one of them was Stellar Blade. Like, and no, basically nobody agreed with that, and that's completely fine. People were just
exactly.
like, oh man, it's just it's essentially just porn in video games. And I was like, that's fine if you think that. You probably didn't play it, and it's cool. But
No,
I
Stellar was a
absolutely
great
love that
game.
game.
Yeah.
Hell of a game, hell of some gameplay, and I'm glad that it did so well for that studio that they're gonna make another game. So it worked out at the end. But I'm never gonna get upset at people who don't agree. Like it's fine. That's the great thing about gaming, and that's why there's so many different genres. Is because not everything is for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. You got to find the thing that works for you and the games that you like. Um, but yeah, do you have anything else to add, Nate?
No, no, I'm all good. We could definitely move on to
Oh damn. Okay.
the big old
You're not gonna
Nintendo.
get my opinion? Oh damn. Okay, never mind.
No,
Um,
oh no, wait, well, no, but I thought you gave it earlier. That's my fault
nah,
because I'm
nah,
half
you
in, half
good.
out. I'm half in, half out today.
Nah,
So
you good. You good. I'm gonna be quick though, because you guys pretty much said all the points that I wanted to make. So I am, like I said earlier, I am about at chapter 7 of the game. So I'm about halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Um, so let me just start off by saying like I'm gonna give it the positives because we've been kind of raining on this game, but it does have a lot of positives going, like with what Nate said. Like the graphics amazing. I'm playing right now via PC Game Pass, playing it through GeForce Now, so it's like cloud PC gaming, so it's streaming off of a 480, so I'm playing it like 4K 60 or whatever. It's absolutely gorgeous. The color scheme for this game, I love it. Like the amount of color in this game is phenomenal. I can't really take screenshots because like I said, I'm playing it through the cloud streaming, but I have taken so many pictures. I've grabbed my phone and taken so many pictures, just pause the game and taking pictures that way. It's ridiculous. I am I am for one a big stop motion fan. Any kind of game or movie that you do that with, like Coraline, Nightmare Before Christmas, like in any kind of game or media that uses that medium, you already got me. That's something I absolutely love. I love it when developers use different styles are associated with different mediums like like TV and movies, and they bring that to games. I love that. I know you have the option to kind of turn it off because I know it affects some people, the visuals, because the frame pacing is different, but I just left it on. I love it. um
Is it automatically on? I'm only asking because I
yeah.
remember, yeah, then I experienced it with the cutscene only. The gameplay doesn't have that, right?
No, the gameplay has it.
I didn't.
It's just not, you just probably don't notice it because you're moving around a lot,
Yeah,
so but
I didn't.
it has it.
I didn't know that, but
um
yeah.
but yeah, absolutely love that medium, so I was already hooked with it. When it comes to South of Midnight, the thing that really got me to want to play the game, that intrigued me the most about it, was just like I said, one, the stop motion. When we saw the initial trailer for it, I was just like, oh yes. And then it was just a different type of game. It was a game set in the South, right? We don't really get that setting to a lot in video games, so that was another thing that intrigued me about this game. And obviously I'm a black woman from the South, so I was just like, okay, let me see how well the representation goes from here. But there's different segments of the South. There's the South, there's the Deep South. There's different parts of the South, and she's from the Deep South.
yeah,
But the colloquialisms and everything like that are so on par. Yeah, from the first like 15 minutes or so, like the annoyance that she was feeling with her mom kind of reminded me how I was with my mom. I was definitely the same way right before, because the game takes place. She's packing up and she's graduated high school and she's like about, this is her, I think, last summer here before she goes off to college. Um, and that kind of reminded me of my attitude before I went off to college. I was definitely over everything my parents had to say. I was just ready to leave. I think that's a lot of a lot of sentiment kids can have right before they leave. I was just like, yeah, and I'm from a small town too, so I was just like, yeah, I'm ready to get out of here, go to the
Get
city,
out of here.
get out of the cut, man. So I was the same way. I was just like, I thought I was grown. Like I'm older now. I'm about to be on my own. I really don't need your advice anymore. I'm good, essentially. And that's kind of how Hazel is. She's just like, she's kind of with her mom, and she's just like, I don't really know why you're hiding things from me. Like I'm older now. Why don't you just tell me the truth about things? And her mom's, she's doing what moms do. You don't tell your kids everything, but you do it because you think you're doing what's best and you're trying to protect them from certain things. But Hazel's still young. She doesn't really get that. She's just like, I should, you should tell me these things. I should be aware.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get Hazel. I thought, everything that she says, everything that she does, the way she interacts with people, it definitely reminds me of me. That the neighborhood she lives in, like the street that I grew up on, the street my parents still live on. We know everybody on the street. Like like half of my family, we all live on the same street. Like my grandma lives across the street, my aunt lives down the street, my cousin lived beside me. Like it like
Oh man,
all
the
of our
whole
neighbors,
squad.
like we literally go to the same church. Like it's small town shit like this, man. I'm telling you. And it was very relatable. I was like, yeah, this is the kind of thing, we all know each other type vibe that is in the South.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they captured that spirit of if I can give this game one, you know, one praise, that they definitely captured the spirit of the South. The things she says randomly sometimes when she's kind of just talking to herself out in the world. Um, the kind of stuff she says reminds me of stuff I used to say. But yeah, they did a great job doing that. I think Compulsion Games, especially when we saw the deep dive and the amount of research they did and going to different parts of the South to kind of pick up on the lore and the mannerisms of people from the South, you could tell that they were doing their research for that. So they did a very good job.
Absolutely.
Like I said, so that's great. Art style's great. Like I said, stop motion, great. Um, like the combat, that's a big thing for this game. I kind of on the same kind of wavelength with Omar. Like I thought it was serviceable. It
Mhm.
worked for what it was trying to do. It does get kind of repetitive. You're like, okay, here we go with another arena. We're kind of doing the same thing, but they do add like different types of enemies, and you can kind of upgrade with your skill tree. So, and it's like Omar was saying, it's not easy. Like unless you put it on easy, it's easy, but like normal and above, it's definitely tough. The dodge button's kind of finicky too. It's like it wants to work sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. And like Omar was pointing out with like the red icon, it's hard to tell when this enemy is coming. You know how God of War also has like a red icon to kind of tell you that an enemy projectile is coming your way.
Yeah.
South of Midnight has the same thing, and it's kind of hard to tell what type of projectiles coming. Is it an enemy that's coming to hit you, or is it a magic projectile that they're throwing? And I think maybe they could have color coded it differently for different types of things, because different moves require a different strategy to get out the way. So it's like that doesn't really help me, you know.
And when they
So I just
hit
end
you, they take a large amount of
yeah,
health.
they do take a decent chunk, especially because sometimes it'll be two enemies coming at you at the same time. So back to back, that's like half of your health gone right there. So they probably should have tweaked that. Like the combat, I don't mind the arena style, but if you're gonna do that, you kind of gotta make sure you get it right so that people can play it in a fluid way. That doesn't make them kind of roll their eyes when they get to it because they're like, oh man, this is gonna be kind of aggravating to do. Um, but yeah, it's serviceable. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. The reason I really wanted to play South of Midnight though was for the story. Like I just knew this was a game that was going to be more story focused than combat. Like combat wasn't even what I was thinking about when I first thought about this game and I first saw this game. Like I didn't really care what the combat was going to be. I was just like, tell me what's your story? What's it going to be? And so far as the story goes, like I said earlier, I agree with Omar. It just a lot of unresolved things are going on. Like I'm enjoying finding out what the people are going through. And like I said, these are some very adult conversation stuff kind of going on in here. A lot of adult trauma and things like that. Like shocking. Like, oh wow. Like, this is getting real. Like
You
stuff
were
that can
not
just open up some
expecting that. You're
wounds.
thinking, oh, it's gonna be a
Yeah,
fantasy, simple storytelling.
true.
Like, nah, they
Very true.
got
I was
deep.
not expecting that. But they really went deep. Like they did not hold back. Like even off the like I said the first story, even off of that, I was just like, "Oh, wow." But it keeps going. It just keeps going. I'm just like, "Okay, this is something that you really have to sit back and, evaluate on a real level." Um, these are people going through some real deep stuff.
Yes,
So it's just like,
get your
you
therapy
kind of
ready. It's
yeah,
it's
essentially.
legit like that.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, dang. Okay. Like, I expected it just to be kind of like the normal kind of bad, like, oh man, my best friend moved away, or oh, I broke up with a partner or something, kind of like, surface level kind of stuff. No, it's just some real deep stuff. I was just like, oh, damn. All right. Oh, wow. They didn't hold back on that. Cool. Um, but even with that though, I appreciate that they kind of went on a more real level with it. So I do like that aspect of it. And so far, like I said, I'm halfway through. Right now, I'm gonna give it like a solid 7.5. I'm gonna see how it holds me, but I am intrigued enough to kind of keep going with it, kind of see where it goes. Not a fan, I said again, of the unresolved issue that they keep kind of doing, where they don't really talk to the person after they deal with their trauma. I think that would have leveled it up for a lot of people, because I've seen that complaint, because I was watching the reviews before. It wasn't really spoiler reviews, but just people kind of giving their opinion about it, and that was a common consensus. And I think if they had done that on some level, where you talked to the person that you were helping after you dealt with it, and kind of wrapped it up in a nice bow or something, and or even if it's not a bow, even if they're still a mess after you deal with them, just some kind of end point
At
with
least
that
some
person.
type of resolution. Yeah, I agree with you.
Exactly.
It
It
would
would
have
have,
been it would be a 7.5, at least
yeah, I
for
think
me.
it would have definitely raised the score up for a lot of people. But yeah, we've
I
been
want to
talking
ask
about South of
you,
Midnight for a
do
lot. Go ahead,
you
go ahead.
do you have any issue with the backtracking that I complain about? Welcome to
Oh, getting like the floofs. That's what
yeah,
they're called, the floofs.
yeah, trying to find them.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
you're lost?
yeah.
Did I go to this area or did I not
I
go to
agree.
this area? Like what the fuck? Like I
Yeah.
literally saw myself literally going to the same area 5 times. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I did. No, I agree with you. I did the same thing. Like, cause I'm just like, cause I'm trying to get all the floofs. So, like you said, to get the upgrades, cause that's how you get upgrades. Those are like the little light beams or whatever in the area, and you collect them, and however many you have is what you can get with the skill tree, right? If you got 60 floofs, you can get this skill or whatever, stuff like that, right? So. Yeah, I was doing the same thing, Omar. I was like backtracking. I was like, wait, have I been in this little crevice over here before? Have I took this path over to this left? Like, because even though it's like a linear game, there are a lot of little crevices that you can go to kind of find the floofs, because they're kind of hidden in the world. Like maybe sometimes you gotta do like a platform up to a tree, or they're in like a burrow, or like they're under something.
That's super
Like
hidden.
they're kind of like hidden, right? So yeah, I did also have, it got annoying trying to backtrack to figure out if I had been in this area, and did I search this area? Did I get all the floofs over here? Like, I don't know. Like, at least they had, I guess, it was decent enough that they put like a counter in the start menu to tell you how many floofs are in the area, so you can
Yeah.
know. But yeah, the backtracking was, I agree, Omar. It was annoying. Yeah, they should have figured
Gotcha.
out a way to uh to deal with that. But yeah. Let's see. Enough of South of Midnight though. But shout out to Compulsion. I'm happy that they were able to get this game out. I think it definitely does deserve to be released, and it deserves to be out there. It's a game
Yeah,
with a story to tell. So
I don't think people need to skip it. Like, put console
yeah,
war aside, play it, enjoy it,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
afterward have a genuine conversation. What could have been better? How could they uh, elevate it. Like there is a
Mhm.
conversation to be had. It's not
Absolutely.
just console war, which I hate people focusing on. But hey, people gonna
But
be
yeah,
people.
speaking of games though,
Sort of think so. Sort of think so. That's what we did
let's
before
switch
because we
to
talk about it. Yeah.
yeah, let's switch to Sony's game.
Yeah.
Marathon. All right. So we got a preview of Marathon about a few hours ago, actually. It came out today. Bungie had a live stream kind of explaining with their devs, explaining their game. They showed some gameplay, they showed a background, they even showed a little story trailer made by Alberto. I forgot his last name, but he also makes um he contributes to the series Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, and he makes some of the best little shorts that are on that show, which I absolutely love. And he did his classical art style with this story trailer, which was awesome. But yeah, we got to see a little bit of Marathon today. Very interesting. PlayStation said is going to release in September of this year with a closed alpha coming out at an undisclosed time. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's start with Nate, our in-house kind of Bungie expert, our former fan of Destiny 1 and 2. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about Bungie's next new IP, Marathon? Our what is it called? It's a what kind of game is it? It's a
Traction shooter.
yeah, that. So a
Yeah.
extraction suit. How are you feeling
Um.
about Marathon?
So I mean, it's a couple key points. I mean, I felt like they did a good job showing the game off today, especially when having the conversation with Henry, in the chat. He's very excited for it. Um, and that's kind of what we alluded to when we were watching it, right? Like for the people who play those types of games, it looks like it's really gonna pull them in. But I think the key here is who else can you pull in that's not already ready to jump in, right? We
Mhm.
talked about that price point being a key factor, 40, $50. They already stated it's not going to be 70, but
Oh,
we don't know
thank
what
God.
it's going to be yet.
And they
Yeah,
also stated
so
it's not going to be free to play. So
yeah,
somewhere in
it's not going
between
to be free to
there.
play.
So
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple key points they got to hit. Like I said, you're gonna get the people that take off on it. Another thing that could be a big thing for them, they did, like I told you guys, I did recognize at least one person they pulled in for the marathon. He is a big influencer. Dr. Lupo was there, so influencers obviously play a very big role. Because honestly, when you've got a live service game like this, how hot you can stay on Twitch is also very important, right? You need that
very true.
visibility. You need people like Kai Cenat, out there
Yeah.
playing this game,
Yeah.
going crazy, really getting people interested, getting people, hyped to play the game, so on and so forth. So I think it's going to be key this alpha and or beta, if they do both leading up to it, it's not till September when it comes out. I think, like I said, art style wise, we all agreed like they did a real good job at least being very unique in that way. No one's going to see this game and be like, and mistake it for anything else, right?
Right.
And that can't really be understated, because in a sea of games that are tactical shooters and all these other things, like you definitely don't want to look like the other guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think that, and it sucks because it's like it's very polarizing, right? So some people are gonna really, really love it, and some people are not.
I'm really
Um,
hating it. It's interesting to see what's gonna happen. I'm curious if you can
yeah,
put your dislike aside for the gameplay. Cause Bungie came in with the gameplay and that it looked fire.
I mean, Bungie's gameplay is always top tier, right? Like one of the key things that I'm looking for as someone who does still play shooters currently, and so on and so forth, is timings with the server, and as far as like hit markers when you're hitting someone, are you getting accurate hit markers? Are you really able to take them down? Destiny really hasn't had much of an issue with that, so I think that's going to be another key thing that people are going to get to stress test once they're able to get in this alpha and so on and so forth. What you've seen, obviously, them playing was going to be really good, right? They were playing local, right? They're playing the way that esports takes place, where they literally have the best connections ever. So if they can maintain what we saw, as far as from a gameplay and responsive nature from the game, I think that's going to be a really good key point, right? Because honestly, that's one of the biggest faults for Call of Duty right now. That's got a lot of people and a lot of pros leaving it or coming away from it, is that they just, it's one of the biggest ones out there, one of the biggest shooters out there anyway, where they're just not really taking care of the servers. The tick rate on the server is terrible. You're getting a bunch of hit markers when you're just hitting nothing but air. And then you get shot, and it looks like it looks like no one shot you. But then you go back and there's this whole thing that happened where this other person saw you for what feels like 20 seconds, and you were just broad daylight out there. So there's a couple things that they're going to definitely have to do with that. One key thing that I believe they have going for themselves is, like I said, extraction shooters are not really have no real headway on consoles. So that could turn out to be massive, right?
The only one that
Like
they have is
absolutely massive.
Helldiver 2, but that's about it.
Yeah, but even that is not an extraction shooter in the traditional sense, right?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So, yeah, like in this way, where it's PvE, PvP, that's like the traditional extraction shooter that has been going on. So, the fact that that's not really on console is like a big thing. Like, like what you were stating with Helldivers is not really that competition. Like, this is the first one that's battling something like Tarkov, right? Where, like I said, there's PvE going on and PvP at the same time. Um, so again, like I said, everything looked good. Like, gameplay is like the least of my concern, right? They always do this very fluid, very well. I think another key point that Bungie has statistically had an issue with, that they're going to need to correct with this game, definitely, is their ability to react to player feedback. Like, you can't take 3 to 6 months to change something. Like, your game's gonna die. Like, so they don't
Also,
have that Destiny leeway window where they could just rely on the PvE while they fix this or that. Like, that's gone. So that's a big issue they had with Destiny, and it's a big reason why I quit. Right? They just took too long. They did a bunch of stuff later where they brought things back that players have asked for months and months and months, or even a year or more. And it's like, you can't take that kind of time when you're dealing with live service. Like, you need to fix it like next week. So
Yeah.
I think that's something else they definitely need to learn. But yeah, like I said, great initial showing. If you don't like it, like a lot of us are like, we'll see what's up, but we're probably not, right? But none of us are really big PvP people. I probably play the most PvP out of the whole squad currently. Um, and even I'm on the lower end of the spectrum, right? That's why I said, like, looking towards Henry in the chat, he sounds like he plays a lot more. He's got a squad to run with. Like, these people are excited, right? But another key thing that I was talking about with him in chat that they need to look out for, everybody doesn't have a squad. And everybody, even if you do, it's not every day of the week, right?
yo,
One of the
Yeah.
biggest modes for me when I play Fortnite is I drop solo. I play solo drops all the time. Like, that's one of my funnest modes for Fortnite. You
I
need to they love the fire team, this you and two other buddies, and that's great when you got that. But when you don't, you still want people to want to play the game.
I gotta ask you this, cause
Yeah.
you was as much as shocked as me. What's your thought on the fact that your own teammate can backstab you and literally take away with the loot that you worked hard to earn?
I mean, my biggest issue with that is, like, that's gonna make me very cautious about playing
I
with,
think
randoms.
they killed any type of not crossplay but like invitation play. Like
Keep in mind, right? Keep in mind that only happens when you're down. So, like, your person is not going to just randomly stab you while you are up. It was saying when your team is down and you're the last person standing, you can bring everybody back, or you could just stab everybody and then be like, I'm gonna take all the loot for myself. So
I
they're not just killing you like, friendly fire and just busting
Yeah,
a
I
cap on
got you in that
everybody and
end.
then taking off.
It's a decision that you can make, and yeah, it just feels like I don't know.
No, I mean I get it, but
I know. Sounds
they're
like you
trying
gotta.
to, huh?
Sounds like you gotta get good.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to create artificial intensity, right? Like I get it. Like devs love trying to do this, right? Again, like I said, you can see the excitement in their faces on the stage. Like, ooh, it's gonna be so cool when that finally happens in the game, and we saw this happen. Like again, like I said, like that like this whole thing they've been building in a vacuum that they finally get to share. And like I said, while that's exciting, it's got to be fun to everybody, right? It can't just be fun to the thrillers and straight killers, as I call people. Like you can't just have the people, pub stomping your whole game and then nobody else is having fun. So I mean that's definitely like a big thing where you want to be careful how they lay this out. You want to make sure you're getting different modes, and so on and so forth as they go on, right? The initial extraction mode, stuff like that. You want to make sure, obviously, that's their core. But again, one of the key factors, like I stated, for me, in a lot of these other things, including Call of Duty, right? Look at the variety of game modes in all these games. Like, you got to support more than just a triple drop. Like, you just got to.
And they did say that they would have
So,
solo
yeah.
drops in the game, that you could play by yourself if you wanted to.
Yeah, so
Um,
so Henry said the only thing with the solo drop though is that it'd be you can solo drop, but you'd be you versus teams. So that would be
yeah.
like not fun because I've definitely solo dropped in just duos in Fortnite, and I immediately noticed like because I was getting dropped.
I wonder if they'll
So
do like a solo drops versus solo drops type of thing.
see that now that's what I'm talking about. That's what I need personally for me to be in because I just don't have the time or I'm doing other stuff, right? Like half the time that we're all talking, like this after the podcast or whatever, and we're just chilling. I don't want to go jump in a party with five other people or whatever and specifically go do PvP. I'm gonna keep talking to y'all while I'm playing the game, and I might just want to solo drop, So I don't want to
Yeah.
do all this communicating and playing with two other people. Like I said, that could be very, very fun. It's awesome when it's you and your squad and y'all are on point and you're loving it and you're having a ball. Like there is a time and a place for that. But especially as grown people, our schedules are so different, so all
Mhm.
over the place. So you just don't have that time all the time to have that commitment,
You
to
just wanna drop
drop
in, drop out,
together.
right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. You need more of that drop in, drop out. And you need stuff to play when my homies are not there. So, like I said, I'm stating this specifically for Bungie because they were really, really hell bent on that triple, triple lineup fire team, as they would call it, on Destiny. Um, but because Destiny had a big PVE, right? There was a ton of stuff you could do solo, right? But there was also very key points that you're like, yo, I'm gonna need two people to do this. So there was a bunch of activities, right? So I think they just need to keep that in mind as they keep, let the extraction shooter triple squad be your main thing, but just be very careful. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
So
it'll be
should
interesting
they
to see what they
listen?
do, what they come up with.
Should they focus on the casual or the hardcore more? Cause that's their
I mean,
first
you got
biggest.
to so you got to do both. This is a big problem for Bungie as well, right?
Yeah, they
They
did. They
listen
fucked
too
up
much.
with Destiny 2.
Yeah,
That's
they
why.
listen too much to the people who play Destiny for a living and not the people who didn't. So then you made things take too long and take too much time, and you weren't respecting the gamer's time. And then a lot of people quit. They're like, "Yo, this takes too long, or this is too far," and all these different things. So yeah, you got to definitely be very, very careful how you're doing all these things. Like I said, respecting your time is not just something for them. This is something we've talked about in general for all game studios, right? Respecting people's time when they have, a finite amount of it, as gamers that, are from all ages, right? You got the young ones you've got that have all the time in the world. Then you got the older ones that got the money, but maybe not all the time in the world. You got to be very careful how you balance that, and so on and so forth. So I'm interested to see what they do. I'm very confident in the gameplay. No problem there. Bungie's phenomenal at the gameplay.
Yeah.
It's just you've got to continue to give me a compelling reason to play. And like I said, a big key for me personally is when I don't have that squad or I don't feel like doing that and I still want to jump in, maybe get my dailies done or whatever, like I can still do that by myself and not have to worry about two teammates being random stabbing me in my back. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, so again, interested, but yeah, they don't got me locked in yet, but we'll see where we go from there. And definitely watch out for that crossplay. Given that it's launching on everything, they need to
You don't
have
want
a
to play a
console
multiplayer?
only. Yeah,
Hmm.
nah. Console people be PC people be cheating too much, and I say this as someone who's been PC gaming since the '90s. So don't try it if you hear this later. I've been on that life, but PC people cheat too damn much, and Bungie has proven that they cannot stop it. Whatever anti-cheat they've been running on Destiny is trash because people be cheating up, left, right, and center. So yes, if I pick it up, like I told Henry, I'll be playing it on my PS5 Pro, and they need a console only crossplay where it's either me and the PlayStation boys or the PlayStation guys and the Xbox guys, and I'm perfectly cool with that. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Marathon right now.
Okay, I see. Well, as a professional, well, I consider myself a professional live service hater. I could care less. But I'm
Nope.
happy that you have these,
Yeah, I
these
love
points
this
that
one.
are, yeah, that for Marathon. Yeah, I'm happy you see some potential into it, and I hope that when this closed alpha comes out, I really do hope it meets people's expectations. I don't expect it to be perfect, but hopefully it's good enough, and they just have a few notes like add this quality of life feature or do this and just tighten this gunplay up or do something like that. Where it's pretty much ready, right? I hope that they do this closed alpha very soon because the point of an alpha is to kind of give the feedback to the developer so they know how to fix it, which is another reason I believe is a big one why Concord failed. They did like the beta like 2-3 weeks before the damn game came out. I don't know what the hell they expected players to give feedback to on a game that's just about to come out. But yeah, I think that the sooner they get this alpha out there and the sooner gamers get their hands on it, the better for the game. But speaking of a live service hater, let's talk to our another resident live service hater, Weeb. I know you came into the Discord to watch Marathon a little later. Like, I mean, it was basically done when you came in, but I know you saw some of it. Do you have any type of feelings towards
I,
Marathon at
I
all? Like,
I'd say it came just at the right time.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
Because you missed it all,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Precisely. See, I
we
know we.
popped
I
we
know
popped this
we.
in we were all watching it in the Discord and we literally popped in as the marathon stream was ending. It was hilarious. He was like, "Oh, just in time. Perfect."
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think yeah, we just like me, he really does not care about this. Um
Nah, I mean, to be fair, I watched the gameplay, but I mean, come on.
yeah.
How the fuck? I don't care for live shows anyway, but like I couldn't like if there was any way to care less, it would be marathon.
Damn, so what you're saying, you had no expectation and you got even less from it. That's what you're saying.
Yep.
He said my expectations were already low,
And
Yeah,
but they went lower. Oh
yeah.
man. All right. Okay, I see you. Even
But
nothing wrong with that.
yep.
Okay.
Just let it die, and then we're done with live service, and we can come back to
We
making
could
real
dream.
games.
Oh, we could dream about it. Oh man, I wish. But okay, Omar, I know you are also a Bungie fan. You played Destiny 1 and 2, so how are you feeling about Marathon?
well, as much as I'm a Bungie per se fan, I'm also a live service hater. So yeah, outside,
Those two things kind of they
outside.
kind of clash there, Omar.
Yeah, but the thing is, I became a live service hater because of my experience with Destiny.
Oh, what? He said death. Bungie turned you into a live service hater?
I
Oh,
mean,
God.
Bungie, like if you know the amount of time like my thing is I put close to 100 hour I think in Destiny 1, and I was playing it
Okay.
next to my with my friend, and I was putting way more hours in the game than him. Me, zero fucking legendaries. He, close to 4. Excuse you? I'm here farming my butt off, and you just starting, and you got a fucking Galahorn? I,
Oh, man.
yeah, I lost it. I mean, I did beat Benty 1, but I'm like, okay, maybe 2 gonna be better, maybe they're gonna listen to the community. Not only they gave, what you call it, legendary like candies, they also nerfed the fuck out of them. So none of these legendaries felt special no more.
Yeah, I heard that was a big thing for
The
Destiny,
only
that a lot of the weapons got nerfed.
the only ones that have done live service well is Borderlands, Gearbox.
Oh, man.
They
Mm.
perfected it
Those
with
fighting
3.
words.
Despite no, when it comes to skills, when it comes to guns, especially the fact that they give you guns, legendaries at your early on, not when you're fully upgraded, like that's how it should be. And legendaries are always, not always, most of the time tied to bosses you can beat and get them from. Yeah, percentage sometimes iffy, but most of the time is literally a save point. Unlike with Destiny, where you need to rely on what you call it, a live event. Oh, don't remind me with the live event. So yeah, Bungie, they fucked it up. But when it comes to the gunplay, they're king. And I said it, I'm saying it, they're absolutely king when it comes to the gunplay. Never played Halo, but Destiny 1 and 2, they nailed it out of the park, gunplay. Um, what I saw is meh. I'm like, I would have played it with single player, but multiplayer, I I feel like I'm gonna be bored so quick. It, to me, it feels like job. Not only do I need to maintain relationship with people that want to play with me, I need to also make time to play with them. We need to find the correct time all together to sit together and play. And if you miss a session or two, you're gonna be so far left behind the 8 ball. It's not even funny. So yeah, for me that's a no go. They can keep this.
Yeah, I think
I am.
that's one thing about live service games that made me kind of apprehensive. Like if you don't get on it like at the beginning with everybody else, you come in and everybody else is just so advanced, higher than you, and you're just like the noob. It can be very intimidating, coming
Yeah,
into a game kind of late.
like, what am I missing? What do I need to do here? Why is everything like this? Why are you all
Yeah.
level 50 and I'm level 20? What happened? I'm exaggerating, obviously,
Oh,
but
I'm sure I would be the same way if I went back into Helldivers now, because I know you guys are probably crazy high level, and
yeah,
I'm
like
still back on what I was when I stopped playing. So,
when I played with my friend, I was literally level 30 something. He's level 90. I'm like, excuse you, why are you so high? It's like, I never stopped playing. I always played the random matches. He upgraded his
mhm.
entire ship. He upgraded his entire weapon arsenal. All of stuff is upgraded. And me, he is literally going out of his way to collect samples just for me. Because I don't have enough samples to level upgrade my stuff. So, and that's another thing I dislike. He is literally being punished for enjoying the game. Like, I can't comprehend how terrible that is. They need to find, and this is not just a diver issue. What you call it, Halo Infinite had the same issue. They literally punish you. You would get less XP the more kills you did or the more you played the game. And with Helldiver, you don't. It doesn't matter how many kills you do. You're not getting any XP out of it. So to me, it feels like I don't know. Are people gonna shut up and just accept it, or are they gonna avoid with their wallet? Cause despite it being 40, it's still gonna have a battle pass.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned it being Conquer Point 2.0. I don't think it's gonna be Conquered. Nate gave a very good answer that if this one gonna fail, it's gonna fail on its own merit, and it's also gonna fail because of Bungie track record. And remember, PlayStation is not reeling Bungie in that much. They're giving him, for the most part, free reigns.
Yeah,
So
this is Bungie's thing right now. You
it
know, kind
is.
of in their independent
It feels like
IP.
the the what I think is gonna happen. PlayStation is gonna give them as much of a rope that they're gonna hang themselves with a noose when it comes to this game. I feel like it's not. I feel like and think when that happens, that's when PlayStation gonna step in.
Yeah, yeah. Bungie's fate when it comes to what happens as far as them getting absorbed into PlayStation is definitely going to be determined by how well this game does. Yeah, whether it succeeds or fails, because Bungie will definitely get absorbed into PlayStation and probably distributed among all the studios if this game doesn't meet expectations. But I think it'll do well. I don't know if it'll do like Destiny 1 well. Like Destiny 1 was like a big phenomenon. Here comes Bungie. They're independent. They're not making Halo anymore. Here's this new IP that they've made, and it grew in popularity. But I don't know if Marathon will do that. It's the reception that I'm seeing. It looks like it'll be solid enough. I think it'll be solid enough for at least the first year. I don't, who knows what happens beyond that. A lot of times these live service games only last a damn year before they're
Yeah, this
gone.
is
But
why I am. Yeah, I feel like it can be either way with this one. This
yeah,
could be bringing Destiny or bringing Bungie all the way to the glory days, or this could spell doom and gloom to them.
yeah. I think Bungie will weather the storm. They've been through like what 3 or 4 publishers at this point, and they're still around. So I think it'll be a solid enough game to get at least a recurring fan base to come through and play it. Hopefully, like Nate was saying, what makes or breaks, and this is not just Marathon, but like really any live service game that I've seen, and that I've seen, that we've all seen kind of fail and go away. Like the main thing that happens is like the lack of support, right? Or the the lack of quick support,
Mm-hmm.
really. Like they're just not quick enough to give it new modes, new maps, new guns, new characters, the things that keeps a live service game alive, right? In this big competition of live service games, you have to stand out by giving your community consistent support, right? And that's one thing, specifically, especially with like I'm looking at Marvel Rivals, right? They made a statement that they're going to be giving out new characters, producing new characters for Marvel Rivals like every month, right? They just put out a new mode, like I think it's either coming or it's already coming, but they made the announcement for like the new season, like with Miss Freeze or whoever. Like it's this whole dedicated mode just for that. Like the amount of support that this game has been getting since its
Yeah,
launch
this
is
game's
ridiculous.
been insane when it comes to support. Yeah.
Yes, and they have been getting so many characters, so many different different modes and things like that for this game. And I'm just like, as somebody who doesn't play it, like I'm being versed in all this news. Like, damn, there's something else coming from this game. Like even I know, I don't even play Marvel Rivals, but yeah, that's what I think that is a big factor in what makes or breaks a live service game is the amount of support and the quickness of the support that you're going to be giving to this game. And that's what Innate said. Like, they're going to have to be on the ball when it comes to supporting this game, because it does look like a high budget game, right? It's not for me, but I could tell Bungie and PlayStation spent a lot of money on this game, right?
And a
So
lot of
what you need to
passion.
do,
So yeah.
exactly. Money, passion, time has been spent on this game. So they're going to need to be giving it constant support throughout its life cycle if they want this game to succeed. I mean, Bungie should know that. Obviously, they've made a lot of games, so you would think this would be something that they know, but we've seen, like, what you said with Omar with Destiny 2, just like kind of, and Nate said, like, the lack of support, and things like that. So that, and how well this closed beta is going to do, and of course the price point, are factors that are going to determine how well Marathon does. But we're not, fortune tellers. We can't see what's going to happen, but I wish the best for them, simply because I don't want PlayStation to lose out on another few $1 billion investment that they've made into Bungie. That's a lot more money that'll you know start affecting the single player side of their development. So I would prefer Marathon to succeed. So maybe that if Marathon succeeds, they'll kind of stop chasing the bear with this live service thing. Hopefully. But
Mm. So
yeah, I mean,
basically, your reason is selfish, but for a good reason. I feel you.
yeah. I mean, I just don't want PlayStation, to lose out on another investment.
Yeah,
This is
I
this is
get
a
you.
lot of money they spent on this, so I don't want it to necessarily fail just because it's not for me. But yeah, so we've talked about Xbox, we've talked about PlayStation. I guess now we're gonna talk about Nintendo.
Oh
So
boy.
yes, yeah, the
Wait,
news. It's
hold
not
up.
new
We
news, but
we didn't talk about
go ahead.
Xbox. I thought you.
Yes, we did. With South of
Uh.
Midnight.
Oh yeah, no. I thought you're gonna cover. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Okay.
You're ruining my flow, Omar. God, I had a whole thing going.
Okay. Go
Damn.
ahead. Continue your thing.
But yeah, now we're gonna talk about Nintendo. So Nintendo has announced the long-awaited sequel of the Switch. I mean, and of course, the Switch 2. So original, so organic. But yeah, we've got the announcement for the Switch 2. We didn't get to talk about it last week. We didn't have a show last week, so yeah, we got the reveal. We got the price point. We got the release date. It's honestly been a stream of news every day with Nintendo. It's another news segment, and honestly, it really hasn't been that positive. But yeah, Nintendo, when it comes to Switch 2, there's just honestly so much to talk about. Honestly, so much has happened. Many feelings, whether good or bad, are going around with gamers everywhere. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's actually start with our resident Nintendo fan over here, who actually has already pre-ordered the Switch, because lucky him, he doesn't live in America, so he has that privilege. Weeb, how
Yes,
are you
yes,
feeling?
ma'am.
How are you feeling about the Switch 2? You pre-ordered it. We've seen the news. We know what's going on. We've seen the price points. So what's your overall feeling for the Switch 2 and the news surrounding it?
Oh, yeah. Sucks to be you.
Oh
Shut up,
snap!
Weeb. Shut up. First of all, fuck you.
That's weird
Second
telling
of
you,
all,
hey, you're on your own.
No, no,
tariffs, man,
no.
the tariffs.
Yeah, yeah. The tariffs are great, right? Right. Great words. Great new word he learned. Yeah, yeah.
So, how do you
Fun
feel when it
times.
comes to the physical? Because you are have been always a component of physical all day, every
Oh,
day.
oh, oh. I'm still team physical. Like I don't give a shit. I don't trust Nintendo with their digital store, so fuck them. They can try charging more money for physical games. I don't care. I still buy. The thing is, like, yeah, no, that's the biggest, I guess, controversy of them all. They're them charging 80, I guess probably 90 here in Europe for a digital version, and then and then 90, maybe 100, and for the physical version. To be clear, they did say they're going to use variable pricing, so that was specifically for Mario Kart World, which I did in this case, I by exception got digitally because yeah, I'm not not paying 90 when I can get it for 40 if I buy
Okay.
the bundle.
I'm gonna say you got the
Uh,
bundle. Okay.
I got the bundle. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, and that's that. Yeah, so that doesn't mean that all games are gonna cost that much, but they're definitely charging a premium now, and it is setting a very dangerous precedent because that people are always speculating, that Rockstar or Take Two is, so we can charge 100 for GTA 6 because
Oh,
Nintendo is
they
doing it
definitely
too.
are. It's gonna happen, and I'm gonna cry. But I'm gonna pre-order it
Yeah,
anyway. I'm
And
gonna cry all the way
that
to the bank.
yeah, but that's kind of the muddying the waters thing that Nintendo has done with this, but because instead of just it is in some way brilliant that there's a oh yeah, we know people gonna ride if we're gonna raise all prices to to 80. Let's confuse the fuck out of them and just make it variable pricing, and we just can charge they're basically telling you we can charge whatever the fuck we want and you're gonna pay it.
Mhm.
I mean
And yeah, I
you
mean,
proved them right, so touche,
well, well, well,
Mister.
well,
Listen,
technically no, because I did not buy a single game separately. I mean, I bought a
yeah.
bundle. That's
I'm about
it.
to say
Yeah.
the one newly priced game, Mario Kart or Mario Kart World, he didn't buy it full price. He got the bundle, so he didn't actually prove them right because he saved money, which I think the bundle is honestly the best deal out of it because I mean, shit, you get the game for half fucking price. So yeah, smart move. Um, lucky
And and
bastard.
and the thing is, like, well, I'll have to see. But the thing is, right now, like, I never pay full price for any game. Like, I buy physical, and they're always cheaper than
Oh, I
if I
forgot.
had to buy them digitally. So I'm
You know,
willing to bet that at the very least that if there's any game coming out that has the same price structure, $10 euros more for the physical version, they're probably gonna get it for the same price as the digital version at my connections. But uh,
yeah. I'm about to say if you don't know, Weeb has a plug on games. Okay, he always
yep,
gets games below. All right, you know.
yep, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah,
Always. Yeah, and he always gets them early. Not only does he get a lower price, but he always gets games like 1 or 2 days
mhm.
before they actually release. Um, I hate him for that, but I also love him for that. So
Hey,
it is what it is.
when you know Herman Holmes like that, hey, what is it gonna do?
Hey,
Exactly.
hey, that
He absolutely knows Herman. I'm convinced he does.
Hey, that's what you get when you're the physical champion, they don't want to find you. Like they reward you for that. I thank you for buying physical. Fuck PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo with their digital stores. Just buy them at a pop mom and pop stores, and yeah, and we're gonna give you a discount. We're gonna ship it early because fuck release dates, and I'm all for it. So I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm advertising for them for free on this podcast every week. So yeah, that I
Yeah,
deserve some recompense there. But yeah,
that's true.
yeah. Back to Switch too. Like I absolutely agree that this was disastrous. A show. I mean, this is typical Nintendo. They can't do anything right in the sense like they always have to make things more complicated than they need to be, and they're gonna give you minimum improvements or basically catch up to last gen consoles, and they're gonna get praised for it. Like, oh, look at
The
it, they have a
the
share button now.
the Apple formula, as they say.
Yep,
They
Look,
have
yep,
we just
so
did what
much.
Samsung did, but look, it's new. It's us. Yay.
yep. And they're gonna charge you a premium for it. And yeah, I mean,
Exactly. I mean,
that,
they learned from, yeah, they definitely learned from Apple with that. And I can't even say shit because here I am talking on an iPhone next to my iPad with my Apple Watch. So I can't, I
yeah.
can't say shit.
Hey, you at least give it a bug.
I gotta
I,
be honest.
I had a discussion about it. So like, well, why isn't it called the iWatch?
I mean, that is a good question because, like I said, iPhone, iPad, you would think it would be called iWatch, but no,
I'm
Apple
I'm
Watch.
I'm I'm either it sounds a bit uncomfortable, like I watch I'm
Oh,
watching you,
yeah. I didn't
which
think about that.
which it is basically because
Because
they're
I
tracking
watch
your
you.
every move, but
That is true.
or some smart ass that, hey, I'm willing to bet that Apple's gonna release a watch, so I'm just gonna get the
Trademark.
patent or the trademark for the iWatch.
Dude, and I would have sold it to him too for a nice pretty penny. Like, oh, you want it back? Yeah, I give it to you for 1 million. Uh,
And Apple
yeah,
and Apple be like, yeah, fuck you, we're just gonna go out the Apple Watch.
they would be petty enough to just go around that. Like, no, we're not gonna give you that actually.
Yeah, yeah. At least we're gonna give Nintendo credit that they didn't fuck up the name this time around. Just called Switch 2. I mean, if they had called the Switch, I don't know, L or something, which would be an appropriate name, but they would absolutely fuck this up because then people go, oh, this is just an attachment for or another version of the Switch, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like what they did with the Wii U.
Exactly, exactly. Now the thing is, though, I do have like a theory about that, but I think the problem with the Wii is the Wii U is that the Wii did have a very low attach rate. Like most people bought that just for Wii Sports.
Sport. Yep.
Um, yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the problem. Is that's not a healthy base to get people to upgrade because you don't really have an actual uh, base that will move with you, even if people understood that the Wii U was an upgrade or was a next gen console. They yeah, like they yeah, I just bought the Wii for Wii Sports. Like I don't really need another Nintendo. That's probably they were kind of a victim of their own success in that regard. I think, which they didn't make that mistake with the Switch, or at least they got a lot of success with both the hardware and the games because their games are selling gangbusters. Like if you can sell
Oh yeah.
more with a first party exclusive game than Call of Duty, you're doing something right. And their games never drop price, so they're also getting the full margin on every copy sold. So
I have a
so yeah,
question.
they're making gangbusters.
I have a good
You have a
question.
question, okay? That
With
then ask the question, Omar.
Do you think their game sales are gonna be now significantly less because they have so much third party support now?
No, because their first party games are people buy Switch for the first party games. They're not buying that for the third party game. So uh, yeah, they're gonna still be as successful as they are on the Switch. And the thing is, I think this is sort of Nintendo. You could ask the question: will they sell as much as they did before because of the price increase? That's a very good question. There might be a drop for some people, but I'd say I think they're betting on it that people will buy their games anyway, and if they can sell, you know, 20 million copies of the game, and with an extra 10 or $20 on top of that per unit sold, like yeah, they're in a sense crazy not to do it. Like I hate it that they're doing it, but we know, Nintendo fans will buy those games. It's
Hmm.
the very reason you buy the Switch, and yeah, I think they're. I mean, it of course is a bet. It's a gamble. Yeah, it could also turn out that people will. That a lot of people will drop it, or fewer people will buy. But I think in the end, I think they're gonna make more money on those games. They made a calculated bet here. I think they're gonna unfortunately gonna succeed in that.
Do
Um,
you know what's gonna
yes,
happen when they announce Animal Crossing 2?
yeah,
Like, do you know, like, oh, like the next Zelda? Like, bro, listen.
yeah, but that would be funny because the reason why Animal Crossing sold so well was because we had a
COVID.
pandemic. So
Hmm.
So if we're gonna get another pandemic, then we know Nintendo's
Yep.
behind it.
Oh man, we definitely know Nintendo's behind it. Absolutely.
They have enough.
So we need
They,
to
they,
get another one
they
in
have
there,
enough
boys.
money. They need all that money for the investment in another variant of COVID.
We don't want
Literally a month
we
after it starts.
we're a we are a small podcast. We don't want Nintendo to send their ninja. Stop it.
Oh, don't worry. I have done my duty. Like I'm now a part of their club. I bought the Switch too, so they're not gonna touch me.
Okay.
Uh, I'm
How
good
do you
friends with
feel?
Luigi.
How do you feel about what the Switch 2 actually is, as far as what you're getting for? As we know, it's 450. Well, it's different pricing for you, Weeb, I know. For you, what you paid full price for the game and the Switch, and the jump from Switch 1 to Switch 2. How do you feel about the features of the console and the actual console itself? Like, what's it off? What it is actually offering you with the game chat and the Discord like thing, and then the
I
4K
I
120.
I don't
How you feel?
I don't give a shit. Like I don't use Nintendo Online.
Oh, okay.
I I'm only there for the single player games, which is what they do best, and that's fine. Like look, I'm not gonna say that I'm impressed in anything what they've shown. Like it's basically just another Switch, but upgraded, a bit more powerful, basically ready for whatever they call their next generation, and it's fine. That's what all people were expecting, were asking for, and all this extra stuff. Like I don't care. They need something to I guess give their give yeah it's probably an excuse to charge more money or more for the subscription service, because that was the crazy part with actually charge it. They say, yeah, you're gonna get it for free temporarily.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh man, and I think that's actually like what I hate the most about their online service is that they're locking their classic games behind a paywall. Like you cannot, and you can't even buy those games. That's the absolute travesty of it all. And now they're even having collections that are exclusive to Switch 2. So if you have a Switch 1, you're fucked basically. If you want to play those classic games on your Switch.
Mhm.
Um, so there's a solution there, but I can't say that because then Nintendo will definitely get me.
Ninjas. They're gonna come for you, Weave. Say it. Say it. Say the E word. Say it.
You were?
The E word. Never mind. I'm gonna be quiet. Let me shut the
Uh,
fuck up. Um. But yeah, they also have a controller that's locked behind a paywall. Funny enough, the GameCube
oh
controller.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
you can only use it with GameCube games. That it's locked
Oh
behind the
yeah.
It's
paywall
almost as
of
if people don't care about Nintendo doing these things. They're not gonna get, called out for it.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's
Of course not. Yeah.
yeah,
They
exactly.
cultivate their fan base.
Yeah, I've seen, like, this is like, I was talking to Nate about this the other day. Like, this is the first time in a long time that I've seen the Nintendo fanboys come out. I was like, it's almost like the White Walkers. Like, the snow is melted and they're starting to come out. Like, I was like, where have you
Like
guys
they,
been? Like, they are on the defense force. I said, oh dang, this is what it takes for y'all to come out, huh? Nintendo doing some BS, and they got their Captain Save-A-Ho capes on, and I was just like, all right, I mean, listen, I get it. I get it. Nintendo delivers the nostalgia that they're the kings of gameplay games. So I mean, I get it. But it's just like, even with what, everything that Nintendo has contributed to gaming, and they have contributed a lot to gaming, it still makes sense to call them out on the kind of BS that they're saying. I mean, they even hit everybody with that Don Matrick line of, we understand not everybody can afford a Switch 2. So we have a console for you. It's called Switch 1. It's just like, oh, all right. I
and
mean,
people
cool.
saying, "Oh,
That's
you're taking it out of context." All of that, yeah. Like they don't
like,
want to
it
accept.
wasn't as bad as Don's quote, because he was
No, no.
just
It's
on something else.
actually it's
But it was still in the same sentiment. Like that's what he was just like. I mean, I don't really care that you guys can't afford it. Here's a console that you can't afford. Switch one. It's still there. Buy it up. We'll have it there for you for the people who can't afford it. For the people who can, here's the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting tactic to use. We'll see if I'm sure it'll
Well,
work though because go ahead, Weeb.
yeah, because they're not Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Because the thing about
the
Xbox is
first.
they had the nerve
Okay,
to
so
say it and then have no games.
I gotta ask
Yeah.
you, Weeb, did they showcase enough first party? Yes, but launch title for you to buy
No,
the system.
no, their launch lineup is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It is, but the thing is, it doesn't matter because it's Nintendo. Like those games are gonna come.
Yeah, no, no.
It's basically
The Donkey Kong game look good. Like we're not gonna
yeah. And
sit
look,
here.
I don't even care about that. The thing is, like, this is a difference. If you have a proven track record of delivering quality games, on a consistent basis, like, yeah, I mean, you even though Nintendo is fucking awful and this is a terrible launch, in the end, you're gonna play on that console
I
or
do
on a
feel like
handheld,
there is
whatever you
double
want to call it.
standard.
Sorry.
I feel like there is a double standard with this one because they seem to be getting away with things that if other company did that, they would be
Yeah,
eviscerated.
Nintendo can literally get away with murder. That's who
See,
Nintendo is.
the thing that some people don't get is this: Nintendo has earned enough collateral to do the damage, right? Like they've
No.
earned enough goodwill with the people.
Yes.
No, listen, I'm not saying you have to feel that way, Omar. I'm saying that with Nintendo's track record, with the amount of games they deliver, with the quality of games they deliver, with the quantity of games they deliver, and the consistency in which they deliver these games, people honestly don't like. That's what I'm saying. That's why people like they feel some type of way, like, oh, PlayStation did something, but if Xbox did that, people would get mad. Yes, because Xbox has not earned the goodwill of the people the way PlayStation has, which is why PlayStation has more of a cushion when they do something bad than when Xbox does something bad.
Okay.
Or and that's why Nintendo has a higher bit of a cushion when they do something bad versus everybody else because they have
But
earned that cushion.
but
I'm not
with
saying they should get away with it.
But with Nintendo, it's far worse. Like we talk about their games. Their games don't go on sale, so
True.
they got away with that with last gen. Now with this gen,
Mhm.
Yeah,
are
but
they gonna
he-
save
he-
the
here here
industry?
here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. Like people are acting like, oh no, Nintendo is turning into, I don't know, Xbox during the Xbox One generation, or Sony during the PlayStation 3 generation. No, no.
Mhm.
Nintendo has always been like this. This is nothing
Nah,
new. This is
they got some
They have
they have
definitely always been
always
like this.
been like this.
they did got
This is
their
Nintendo.
I get you.
Have always been like
Okay,
this.
but listen to me. They garnered a lot of goodwill with the Switch.
Yeah, but
This is but this is
if you look at it, the reason they got a lot of goodwill is that they didn't fuck it up like they did with the Wii U.
and
Like
Mhm.
the thing is, if you look at all their practices during the, like, they upped the ante, but they're still doing the same basic shit. Like, yeah, like I said, their games are never almost never go on sale. They have shitty practices with like, they release like what they did with Mario 64, like a limited edition. They lock they're locking all their the classic games behind the subscription service. They have shitty internet. They have Joy-Con drift. Like, and they sue you, if you even dare use their IP in any
Excuse the
fucking way
kids,
whatsoever.
man.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo is all like this. This is nothing new. Like, people act so surprised. How could you, Nintendo? I never would expect
so
that
I
from you.
think
Like
the
this.
reason why people
This
are
is
acting like
Nintendo.
the reason why people again acting like this is because of the amount of goodwill they generated with Switch. Like people
Yeah,
expected
but yeah,
Switch to
yeah, but
fail,
again,
and they nailed it. Which
I'm
they
saying
nailed it.
the
But with this one, yeah,
I'm saying there is like they succeeded with a console by making it not shitty. Like, uh, but this is Nintendo. Nintendo has always been this sort of tone deaf, big corporation. Like, they're mass. Like they're bigger than Sony in gaming in that regard. Like they're a massive company, and they've always been like this. I mean, they've never been like the good guys. People are always giving them credit. Oh yeah, they saved gaming. When the game crashed. And yeah, they did, but they're still a greedy corporation, and they're all greedy corporations. That's fine. But Nintendo has always been like, I can get away with murder. Like we can do
Mhm.
whatever the fuck we want. Yeah, sometimes they fail with a console because they're so out of touch that they don't realize like, okay, yeah, we really went too far this time because people like had no fucking clue what we're actually on about. Like with the Virtual Boy, with the Wii U, but if they deliver a basic console, like the thing is like, yeah, a lot of goodwill with the Switch, but how many people have complained about how weak the hardware is? And it's true. Like if you like, I would never buy a game. Uh, 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 Maybe give some exceptions, but like if the game is available on PlayStation, I will definitely buy it on PlayStation because
So
if it, even if it's a weak
what you're
like a game
saying
that
is
it's
you're not gonna buy The
that
Witcher 4 on Switch 2. That's what you're saying.
I'm gonna buy Witcher 4 and Switch 2. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay.
Just to see my Switch 2 go up in flames. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Like it's for so there it's so bad that even games that were like ported from the Vita to the PS4
Oh
and
yeah.
then also got a Switch port, it still run worse on the Switch and on the PS4. Like it's I don't know, like it's such shitty hardware, and yeah, and like you're saying, like, but they still got away with it, right? Like people are accepting it, because making excuses, yeah, because it's it's a handheld, and sure, fine, there are compromises you have to make, but in the end, like, it's not a console made for for third party games, like at least not games that are multi-platform, like. You don't want to buy, like, don't want to have that as your main console, like, again, like the Switch 2 is just for playing those Nintendo games. And yeah, if I could get exclusive or whatever, that from a third party publisher, that's fine. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get it on the Switch too. And that's what it's all. That's the only purpose. Like it's never gonna be my main console. Um, but Nintendo, despite the fact that they're literally E Corp, they can get away with it because they deliver that content. That Nintendo seal of approval stands for something, unless of course it's Pokemon, because that turned out to be
Oh.
terrible. But 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 yeah, I mean, you're still. I'm also not a fan of the new direction that they went with the Zelda games, but they're getting critical acclaim, so they're doing something right there. So in the end, it's a safe investment in the sense that okay, you're gonna get, as a gamer, you're gonna get games. Uh, I'm not so sure about the next Xbox because I mean they're making games, but like everything is coming to PlayStation. So, and there's no reason like to get one if you know that everything is coming to another comparable platform. And with the Switch 2, I can safely make that purchase because I know even if the launch lineup is weak, like, yeah, I'm gonna get plenty of mileage out of this, so I'm not worried in that sense. Uh, so I can buy that, even though I can really condemn all the bullshit that they're doing, because but in the end I'm not surprised they're doing it because Nintendo is being Nintendo, and people who are surprised by this, yeah, really had rose-colored glasses on or whatever. They were really drinking the Kool-Aid there, thinking that Nintendo was the good guys. No, they were not. They're the most greediest. company of them all, and they're all greedy, but they're just don't give a shit because they know they can get away with it.
Yeah, we gotta remember, like you said, and Omar, they did make some goodwill in the Switch One, but they also we've been saying, they had shitty Joy Cons, they had high prices that never went down. Like the hardware wasn't anywhere where it should have been, like as far as specs goes. Like Nintendo was doing a lot, like they were taking down videos of people just streaming their games, playing their games. Like Nintendo's never been the good guy. They've never been nice. Like I think it's just because it all came at one time that people were just like, whoa, wait, wait, whoa, whoa, prices,
I
oh my
think
god, games, oh my
I
god, oh my god. But
I
they've always been like that.
I think it's
Like,
like um just one simple thing. The
mm,
welcome game where you explore your
oh yeah,
Nintendo Switch
the
too.
the tutorial, yeah.
That is
Mhm.
$10, while
Yes.
PlayStation with what you call it, Astrobot, literally for free, and that's a close to. I'm not gonna say full game, but a big, it is a large demo, like a special demo that you can put close to 5 hours into, if you want. If you want to get the plot, um, to me it feels like it's such a dick move to your fan base, and to make that like it, but to me this is rivals Xbox one generation reveal.
Oh no, no, let's not do that.
I absolutely think so.
Nah,
Nah,
nah.
it's
Because
absolute. Yeah.
listen, Xbox One came out with the puff chest the same way Nintendo does, right? But the difference is Nintendo actually has some goodwill and has some games to earn that puff chest. The Xbox One didn't have shit. So they had the audacity to come out with that puff chest
But
and tell people, one, that you're required to buy the camera. It comes with the box. You can't turn the box on unless you have that camera. And yes, the camera has to always be on. That's what pissed people off. Oh, and every game you buy, you can't share that game. You can't resell that game because the game is a cooked to your account now. So you can't once you buy it, there's no giving it to a friend to
I mean,
borrow. There's no reselling it for your money.
we're here now, aren't we? With this one, DNM,
No,
DRM.
no. I mean, no, because when Nintendo Switch 2 games, you can sell them. You can
Yeah.
let a friend borrow it.
E-
Xbox One, you
Even
couldn't do that.
even the digital ones that are on
Yeah.
where you basically download it from the
Mm-hmm.
cartridge doesn't contain the game. It's just a key to download the game. They confirmed you can sell those games.
Yep, you can sell it. You can let your friend borrow it, whatever. Xbox, you couldn't do that. That's why that famous commercial came out with Shu and the other guy, where they was like, "This is how
Yep.
you borrow a PlayStation game," and they just
No,
handed it to each other because they were dissing Xbox with the fact that they were telling people you can't let your friends borrow something that you paid for. It was ridiculous. That's why everybody revolted, and Don got kicked out a month after the announcement for Xbox One because people were so pissed off. They're like, "You have the audacity to tell me that I pay money for my game and I can't resell it if I want to. I can't let a friend borrow it if I want to. And then you put restrictions. You tell me it has to always be online. You tell me I have to have this camera. You're making your console $100 more expensive than the PS4 because you are requiring me to have this Connect with my Xbox. And you tell me that even if I wanted to take the Connect off and not use it, then I can't use my Xbox. That's all the shit that Xbox was doing. So to say that the Switch is on the par with that, hell no. Xbox was
okay,
on some
I get you.
crazy
Okay,
shit.
I get you on that end, but they did some fucked up shit, Nintendo, with the Switch 2 reveal. They they butchered it. Like I feel like Nintendo fucked their reveal beyond belief. It's because how scummy they were. They didn't share this information with you on the screen. This was literally after the showcase. Trickle truth, if that makes sense. And
Do you
yeah,
have a issue with is it just the game prices, or do you have an issue with
no,
the price of the
I
console
have
too?
issue with a lot of the stances. I have
No, 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 no.
issue.
No. I'm simply talking about the price. I was like, as far as is it just the price of the games that you have a problem with, or is it the price of the console too?
The price of the console, I was okay with the price of the console. Like, um, I think there, I think I bought the PS4 for 400 euro. I think, and this is
Yeah.
for 40. For 50, I meant to say. It's it's a twofold. It's their game never going on sale, and it's them ushering the $80 price tag. That to me
Yeah.
where
I mean, so far though, it's only one game. So out of all the games, the
I
first party games they
it
announced, it
but
is
it
only one.
but for me, like for me, someone that never played the Legend of Zelda games, if I wanna step in, no, I need to pay $70, and I'm not even getting the DLC with it.
But Omar, to be fair though, we told you that before the Switch even was announced. We
This
told
is
you
why
that
this is why I
the
didn't.
Nintendo prices never go down. So we said, "Are you ready for this Nintendo?" Because it's not the console that we're worried about. It's like, just so you know, X Switch games don't go on sale, so they're gonna be full price, bro. Just so you know.
Yeah, and I didn't. I was gonna pre-order it. I legit was that on board, but afterward I just didn't. I'm like, yeah, Nintendo, you can have this one. I'm not gonna waste my time with this, cause it's like I don't know. It
Are
feel
you
like
going to get like a Switch One just to play the games that you wanted?
no, because most of the games that I want are gonna be on Switch too.
No, the games that you said you wanted to play were on Switch One.
Well, yeah, you have what you call it, the two Zelda games and Astral Chain and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and Luigi Mansion and stuff like that. But the Pokemon, I do want like the Donkey Kong. I would love to play it. Kirby, I would love to play it. So I would still
The
be.
Kirby game is, well, one of them is just like a remaster. I can't remember which one, but go
Uh,
ahead.
yeah. It's iffy, but right now, yeah, no. I would rather just focus on upgrading my PC. That's gonna be my cause I need space. You don't know the story, so that's gonna be
Oh
my
yeah,
focus.
I know.
Also, I hate innate, but he is right. I need to finally commit. You're right as well, cause you called it out many times. I need to finally commit and get a fucking Xbox console controller
Well,
for my
thank
PC.
you, God. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, Omar has been fighting trying to get an Xbox controller for his PC. He prefers to use PlayStation controller, which I understand, but when you're playing PC, you should probably use the one that PC developers use the most, which is the Xbox controller. So thankfully, Omar is finally coming around to using an Xbox controller for these PC games, and he'll stop having issues trying to run the games because they're trying to figure out how to configure to the PlayStation controller when it's really meant to be on a Xbox. But I'm glad you're seeing the light, Omar.
There
Proud of
is
you.
no light
Growth.
at the end of the
That's
tunnel.
light.
It's
That
literally
is light.
there is no light. It is surviving of
Omar,
the fittest.
Omar, you are fighting this for no reason. Like there's no reason that
You
you should
guys keep
not
telling
get a
me that.
controller.
Even in Ace, not gonna lie.
Like
In
it's
Ace
like you're
was
allergic to the controller, bro. Like why are you fighting it so hard? Like there's no
because,
reason.
like, I can't comprehend analog instead on top of the controller. Like, damn.
Omar, it is like an inch higher. It's really not that different. Like it the analog sticks being in different positions. I've never understood why people make such a big deal out of it. It
Mostly
really
because
doesn't feel that different to me.
I have been playing games since
Omar, look, we've both been playing games for decades. Okay,
yeah,
I've
but
the
but
difference in the controllers has never
but you
bothered me. It's
own
not that big of a deal.
but you own the control
I
an
owned
Xbox
a
before.
I owned an
That's a
Xbox
difference.
back in the 360. Okay, that was years ago. All right, I first got back on it like a couple years ago. Again, I still had to figure out like remember the things, but it's not that hard. It's really not. Like they're set up similarly as far as like what button's going to be the jump button. It's usually going to be the button at the bottom where the X is for PlayStation. Like it's not this huge learning curve. And besides, you were going to have to learn if you were going to get a Switch. It's a different button
It's a different
style
button.
too.
I actually was
So, but
going.
see, you were willing to learn with Switch, but not with
No,
Xbox. See?
I think there is a controller where you can get a normal
Oh my God. Oh my God,
analog.
you were not going to do that when you got the Switch, Omar.
I
You were not
want
going to spend another
I want.
$50 on another controller
I
after you
mean,
just
I.
spent 500. You were going to wait. You weren't going to get it day one. You were going to have to learn how to use the Switch controller day one, sir.
Oh man.
And you were going to be willing to do it because it was Nintendo, but because it's Xbox, you want to be a little baby about it. Like, I don't want to.
One question, one answer to marijuana. My issue with PC is my DualSense never got recognized on PC for some reason. I need an
Yeah, because they develop for the Xbox console.
No, no,
I mean
no,
Xbox controller.
no. I'm talking about other games, not Xbox games.
I'm not talking about Xbox first party games, Omar. See, you're going assuming again. I was talking about games in general. PC games in general are usually mapped for the Xbox controller because Windows they map for that specific controller.
You would be surprised a lot of them
Oh my God,
recognize the
Omar,
PlayStation 4 button.
I get it, but the universal controller for PC is Xbox, bro, and you got to get over that.
Yeah.
You got to get over that, bro.
Let's move on because we went on a tangent. My bad for this one.
But as far as Switch 2 for me, it's not going to be day one, I don't think. I mean, obviously, I don't know if it can be day one. They still haven't announced pre-order dates for North America. Even Canada has gotten punished by United States antics and has now had their pre-orders delayed indefinitely as well. So, yeah, we don't even know when pre-orders are coming, if pre-orders are coming, if they're going to push back the date for the United States. Apparently, President Trump is in talks with Vietnam right now to negotiate tariffs. I expect that to go absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to happen?
So apparently, for one deal, he negotiated, but he left out gaming. So
yeah, again,
good.
like I said, I expect it to go absolutely nowhere. So yeah, America has or the North America in general has a giant question mark on what is going to happen in the future when it comes to Switch. But let's say they do announce a pre-order and we do get it the same day, worldwide release to everyone else. I don't think I'm going to be getting it day one. I think I'll wait. The games that I particularly want to play on Switch, at least Switch 2 exclusives, are games that are coming in the fall/winter anyway. Witchbrook and Hades 2. So I'm not really in a rush to get a Switch right now, so I'll probably wait till then.
All of the sudden, timed exclusive is not an issue. Console exclusive.
Oh yeah. Money hatting isn't a problem.
It's not an issue. All of the sudden.
It's great. It's great for gamers. It's great. It's great for the industry. All of a sudden. But yeah, that's our feelings with Switch 2. And I don't know if is Nate back. Nate, are you back? I know you had some feelings about the Switch 2. I don't know if he's here though. No.
Oh,
okay.
No, Nate doesn't have any feelings.
Before you say anything, Nate, Morgan, the 2 FPS. When we were watching the 2 FPS with this Nintendo-owned Discord thingy.
Oh yes, game chat. We didn't really get into that game chat. I'll give Nintendo this. I'll give Nintendo this kudos. At least they had the decency to show what the game chat will actually look like, right? Like they didn't try to pretend like it was going to be smooth 4K 60, as far as the resolution for when you see your friends. They show that it actually is going to look like trash. So I applaud them for being accurate that this just know that your video is going to be in 480p.
If you're going to use game chat, you're already won, so you have no excuse. That's why they showed it like this.
Yeah. I will give them. I think it's cool how they're making it a little innovative with the use of you using the camera, you jumping and you're hitting like the boxes in Mario and in the Mario Party Jamboree game where you're jumping up and down, you're hitting the boxes to see how fast you can do it. So I like that the camera is like interactive like that. That's cool. That's gonna have aspects where you're actually moving your body and you're moving and interacting with the game and kind of like an AR type situation. I think that's cool. But yeah, the quality of the camera is just terrible. I saw the cute little I forgot what you call that character in Mario, the little Venus flytrap character in the Mario games. They had
A
that as a
piranha
camera.
plant.
The piranha plant, yep.
You said what? We
Yeah, what Omar said.
Piranha
wait, what did
plant.
he say?
Piranha plant.
Yes, thank you. Piranha Plant. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, they had that as a camera, as a like a third party accessory, and I was like, oh, that's cute. That would be so cute to have, like, in front of your TV, you know. But then they said that the camera quality was 480p on that camera, and
And
I
the
said,
price.
oh,
And the price talking
damn.
between $50 or $60.
Yeah, I think it was like, yeah, $60 or something like that. I was just like,
And then they
yeah, that's
hit
a
you
pass.
with this. The what the Joy-Con is literally 90 and more expensive than the DualSense. Make it make sense, Morgan. I give up.
But it's also a mouse though. You have to equate that like it's
Okay.
dual functional. It's a controller and a mouse, so you gotta continue. I did hear because I did watch some of the people who went to the Nintendo events that were happening in like New York and LA and stuff like that. They got to play some of the games and they did get to play some of the games with the mouse. I did hear people say that the mouse was very good. It worked well, even when they were using it like on their pants and stuff, and like playing the wheelchair basketball game. I forgot what that's called, but that game looked kind of fun too. They said that it was really smooth. There wasn't really any kind of latency, like, but I can only imagine how that'll hurt your hand after a few hours playing like that, because mice are designed the way they are designed to be, good for your hands and not cause carpal tunnel. So it's just like, I don't know how that'll work with like this skinny little Wii stick. I'm sure, like I was telling you, Nate, I think there'll be like um, third party companies that make some proprietary devices that kind of maybe put like a little bump on the side of your Joy-Con to kind of give you that mouse uh structure, like the structure of like an actual mouse, so that you can place your thumb on it and everything like that, and it won't wear your hand out. And but yeah, I'm glad to hear that the mouse is nice, because I was worried that that was just going to be kind of like gimmicky and it wasn't really going to work well. And a lot of people who are playing with their Switch won't be playing like on a desk or anything like that. A lot of people like to just play on the couch, on their lap or whatever. So I was worried how the mouse would work in that type of scenario, but it sounds like it works pretty well, so that's cool. But yeah, the whole game chat thing, it's just honestly, it just doesn't seem like it's
2 FPS. I love your reaction.
yeah.
It goes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that into like that innovative. It doesn't really seem like it's doing much. Like it just kind of copied Discord essentially. I mean, there's a
Congratulations.
reason.
Nintendo discovered Discord.
Yeah, essentially, like there's a reason they're only charging what, like $50 a year for it. I mean, I guess it's a cool plus that they're adding like the upgrade packs, as they say, for Zelda, for the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like if you have Nintendo Online, you get the upgrades for the Switch 2 version included, right? If you have Switch Online, which I guess is a nice cool perk for it.
Oh,
So I guess
I didn't hear that.
yeah, those are the two games you get the
Oh,
upgrade
you mean
included.
just for those 2 games? Okay,
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
you.
just for
I
those
was like,
two.
wait a minute.
Yeah. No, not all of them. No. I think it's one other game too. I think maybe the Mario Party Jamboree or something like that, but it's not for all of them though.
Okay.
But yeah.
God
But
forbid.
yeah, you're here. You're here, Nate. So how do you feel, just in time? How do you feel about the Switch 2 and all of the news that we've heard since its launch? And are you pre-ordering it?
Uh, honestly, I'm on the fence. Uh, my defense here is that if it was up to me, I would not be pre-ordering it. I'd
Yeah.
be holding out mainly just because like 95% of the launch titles don't interest me, including all that port crap that people want to count as a quote unquote launch title. Um, right now, the only real things I see is Mario Kart, and I really Donkey Kong ain't till like July anyway, so
Yeah.
that's people starting to stretch that launch window knowledge.
Like, what
You know,
you're saying is Split
Wait, you're
Fiction
interested
isn't
in
a launch
Donkey Kong?
title?
you said, yeah. I mean, it's a launch window. You know what I mean? But
You mean Cyberpunk isn't a launch title? What's going on? That's not what I
yeah,
heard.
yeah, definitely not a launch title.
Wait,
Oh,
you're
Um,
well,
interested in Donkey Kong?
you say interested in what?
yeah. Donkey Kong, yeah. Donkey Kong looks good. What you talking about?
No, I'm
Yeah,
asking Nate,
no. I'm
'cause-
not interested. My
yeah,
point is that it's not a launch title. Yeah, my point is it's not a launch title though. That's what I'm harping on here. Is that people are stretching the whole launch window thing, and now they're going launch window. When we're talking launch title, like we're talking about what is coming out the day that I go to purchase this thing.
Oh yeah, I
So
saw that tweet. It's like
yeah, so
he name dropped
yeah,
every
no,
single game, and we don't even know when they're gonna release under the
yeah,
sun.
yeah. So people
And
are
the
getting
funny part,
crazy.
and the funny part, most of them are literally ports from old gen games.
Yeah,
Like what we're doing over here.
yeah. So they're not launching on a like they're just launching later on that, and they're just ports. They're not launch
Hollow
titles.
Knight 2 is a launch title, you know, for the
Hollow
Switch
Knight
too.
2.
Yeah, it's just coming at a
Okay.
later date. That's
Wait,
not
Hollow Knight
at the
2?
Switch launch date.
Oh, you mean?
No, I was being sarcastic.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I got you.
you killed me.
Yeah, I mean I can't keep up because like I know one of those games, Hollow Knight, or one of the other ones,
Yeah,
took forever to come out. So
Silk Song is finally coming out.
oh okay, so
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, what a fucking a travesty that they're putting that in the reel instead of just
Yeah, I
announcing it.
am
Like people were waiting for that
I
forever.
am
No, that was insane
surprised.
to me.
They gave it a fucking real and not the genuine. You know, like they had the they had the best moment to literally come out and said, okay, switch to save song day one launching, something like that. Make it special.
I had to go back and look, and I was like, did I just see that? Did I see Silk Song? Wait. There's no way they just put that in a reel, because every Switch or every Nintendo Direct, people would be spamming
Every
that game title.
every
Like, oh my god,
PlayStation
super,
Direct,
like
Nintendo
every
Direct.
direct, everyone.
Yeah.
And they just put it in a reel. I was just like, oh,
Yo,
okay,
the
well,
disrespect. I can't.
that is such a highly anticipated game. Like, people were making memes with the clown on the main character just because people kept getting disappointed every time a direct would happen and the game wasn't announced. Like, honestly, yeah, that was probably one of the most surprising things about the Switch Direct for me.
For me, it was the Dustborn. That game.
Oh yeah, the
That-
Bloodborne 2.
It have some Bloodborne qualities. Not gonna lie, but it being online killed it for me. Multiplayer like now. When you play,
And then
you
it's
wanna
not-
play single player. Welcome to Soul game like that. Most people
Yeah.
play it.
And then it's not coming until 2026.
Also,
And then
Yeah,
who knows
exactly.
how long?
So
Who knows how long it'll be exclusive?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's forever exclusive because Nintendo owns what you call it, release right or
I
something like that. And even then, I feel like this game might be dead on arrival. Mostly because online on Switch, Nintendo, what you call it, internet infrastructure was never that good to begin with. So I can see this game doing well.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like it's Call of Duty. I mean,
Yeah, it's not asking for much.
It's
I
actually-
mean, that other online game that they have, the Splatoon, works well. So I mean,
but I watched a lot, and I mean a lot, of Mario Maker, and people would genuinely drop out because of how bad the internet is. And the person have a good internet.
yeah, but okay, online infrastructure, as far as people having connectivity issues, is one thing, but communication is another thing. So so if you're talking about people dropping out of Mario Maker, that's a Mario Maker issue. I have no issue. I can play Fortnite on my Switch, no problem. So if people are having connectivity issues, specifically with their Switch, that's a they problem. Like, like Yeah, that's not a Switch problem. People just don't know how to do their networks correctly and stuff like that. So that's their issue.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's not a Switch online thing. Switch's online in general is okay. The problem is its feature functionality is what is terrible. That's been like the main issue. So that's something they're trying to correct. But again, even though they're correcting some of this stuff, they're still not doing it 100%, right? Like if I can communicate with people on my friends list as far as like bringing them into a chat, that's one thing. But if I can't message you, like I can't even explain why or have the conversation or ask, a question, like they're missing the other part of it. Like this is the problem with Nintendo when it comes to the online stuff. They keep half stepping it because they keep trying to they can't figure out a way to manage it correctly. And they're always trying to be like, "Oh, well, we want to control this. We need to control that." And it's like they don't know how to just let it go. Let people block people, let people manage their own stuff, let people, there's already parental controls built in where you can literally just say whether or not, an account on there can even communicate online at all. So if people don't want them to communicate at all, you can just cut it off. Like a friend of mine, like I said, a friend of mine, her son played Call of Duty for a long time, but she knows how bad the chat is. So she would just have the chat on mute and he couldn't ever use the headset until he got older. Like you got to let people regulate this stuff themselves, and like this is the thing Nintendo just doesn't want to let go because of this family-friendly image company thing they got going that they just can't let it go.
Like parental
I
controls are
love
things.
how
I
it.
don't know why they're being like they could just make the parental controls a lot more innovative and intuitive so that parents can easily control the content that their kids are using. Like I don't get why you have to like, oh, we can't do that because of kids. Just put the controls in there so the parents can like lock away communication and stuff like that. Like it's easy.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. But like I said, as far as like my opinion on it, they said yes, I will be pre-ordering it, but I'm not technically. I'm just pre-ordering it for Priscilla. Priscilla's the one that's getting it. Uh, so we're just using my account because I have I have the time played on the Switch and the Switch Online. So I will get preferred advanced treatment for pre-ordering it, at least directly from Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
So
because
that might
you need to play 55 game or something like that. Have
you need to play 50 hours. You need to play 50 hours and at least be a member of the Switch
Oh
Online for
yeah.
at least 6 months or something like that. So
PlayStation, why they didn't do that for the anniversary editions of all their products is crazy. Like that's what people were asking for. Like just
yeah,
check people's credentials. You say look at their history, see if they actually play on PlayStation a decent amount, have
maybe
hours, have
play
access.
maybe Nintendo learned from PlayStation. PlayStation fuck up. Because you saw how
I
I
don't
people
mean,
know, but
reacted to that.
they doing it
I
right
don't
though
know,
as
but
far as
they definitely should have done that. I mean, PlayStation knew from the fact that that was a very limited item, and the whole point is celebrating 30 years, and it's just like throwing that out to the riffraff was crazy. Like,
And and the,
like
and the
it was
little
literally
amount,
insane.
the little amount of that they made, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, we'll be pre-ordering it. Provided I mean we can, like, because it's gonna sell out. Like again, like people keep having these conversations. I know us and a lot of people in the chat right now. I know Hero and Wara and them tend to listen to Brap as well. And like they're arguing like people saying it's gonna flop and stuff. I'm like nobody's really saying that, right? Like no one's saying like this device is going to sell. It would sell 50 million, but between the like five IPs that Nintendo release, if that's all they ever released was Mario games, Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, and like Animal Crossing. That alone would sell 50 million. Like no one's not saying it's going to do that. What a lot of people are trying to explain to people is that the perfect storm of events that got the Switch 1 to 150 million is likely not going to happen for the Switch 2. And it's fighting an entirely different battle in the place it's in. the starting point for the monetary gains and issues that it has already being at 450. Like I said, if you're looking at that device, now obviously there's trade-ins and stuff like that. We're not getting into that, but just looking at the raw amount. If you're getting the device, you're getting the game. Let's say you're getting the bundle, so that's 500 out the gate. Um, the Pro controller's like $80.
Yeah, 90.
Um,
Back pedals.
yeah,
That
yeah, with the
that they
An
call for it.
extra
It's so funny.
controller by
We were
itself.
talking about that controller like the day before the Switch 2 was announced, and Nate was saying how the back pedals need to be like standard on controllers, and how he wanted that for the Switch and PlayStation, Xbox as well. But it was funny because then they announced Switch 2 and they had back pedals, so it was, you called that one. I got to give you that one.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it was necessary. Like I said, on a Pro controller, especially because third-party Pro controller, like Pro Lite controllers, were offering it. So you really don't want to be the official controller and not offer it, and have people wanting a third-party device over your own.
Yeah.
So I mean that's obviously a really big thing. But like I said, you're already sitting at basically plus tax. You're sitting at over $600 already, and you have one game if if you got the bundle. Because if you just bought the title and you had to spend 80 on the game, you're over 600 at this point before tax. Once you get the controller. Uh, I don't know about the camera. I won't really count that. Like people are going to be here nor there about the camera. Most people probably won't really care. Um,
I know you want that camera.
but
Okay. I know you
but
will
yeah,
play Mario Jamboree.
nah. I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't be on camera. Like that's just weird. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it just, I don't know. It's a much more pricier commit, right? Most people who are considering this that I know, they're buying it for themselves. They're adults. No, they're not buying it for their children. So, like a lot of some people are using that as an excuse, and I definitely know better. Most people are not putting this, $450 device or $500 plus device in the hands of their kids, right? Like it's much pricier. The bigger glass panel is also going to be potentially more breakable. You got to double check that. One thing I'll give the original Switch, it was pretty durable, right? It's pretty lightweight. So if you did drop it, you got pretty lucky depending on how you dropped it. I've never dropped mine, but you get pretty lucky with some serious drops I've seen kids have with some of these devices, and they manage. Whether or not that's going to be the case for this one, I don't know. I do like the magnet system a lot better than the rail system because the rails always broke. Um, MKBHD did point out that he's not really sure how if these could break, because that's the whole reason they changed the system, right? Is to try and stop people from breaking it because people would break the slides. So now, with the magnets going into the controller, they seem pretty good. And he did state that they kind of have a little give, but of course, you never know. Depending on who is, using the device, maybe trying to pull them the Switch controls off without properly pressing like the eject button to do it. Like there's a bunch of scenarios, right? We just don't know. So like I said, I think most people, at least from what I could gather, the early adopters are all going to themselves. Like I don't really see anybody like I'm getting this for like a 7-year-old kid. And I think somebody mentioned that where they're kind of pricing themselves out of the range um, of that. And I wouldn't say they're doing it entirely. What I will say is I just don't think a Nintendo Switch 2 was going to be a non-factor gift as opposed to like when they were like 250, 300, right? Like this is going to be the big item, right? That you might get for Christmas, and stuff like that, right? And I think that's going to be it. And,
So
people
you
are not going to
think
be necessarily purchasing 4 or 5 or 6 of these things, like they did prior. So, but yeah, like I said, I like what I've seen. I think they have on offer enough for people who are mega Switch fans or mega Nintendo fans. Like I said, I know they got the Metroid there for Weeb. Most people will say Mario Kart. I'm still very speculative about how much Mario Kart people actually play versus how much people just have a nostalgia for that title. Because I'd really love to see the stats on that personally. I remember playing a ton of Mario Kart on the SNES, in the N64, and I haven't put not even a quarter of that time in a Mario Kart game since then. And I don't know anybody that really has, other than when you're just playing multiplayer with the family or, game nights, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like an hour or two. So yeah, like overall, like I said, I think they did enough to get out the gate. For me, the only real thing that's enticing to me, like I said, Mario Kart's just going to be a de facto buy. And then Priscilla's a big fan of, wanting to see the upgrades for Zelda. I don't care about really none of that. The main thing that I really care about that I want to play on it is probably Bravely Default, the HD remaster, and that's going to be $40. So at least they're sticking to the variable pricing. That being $40 is appropriate because that was my big fear. When I seen that, I was like, okay, what are you going to price this at? Because this looks really low effort. What is this going to be priced at? So $40 for something like that, I think is really good for a lot of the RPG fans. I still think we need to see more, personally, because I find it kind of weird that Xenoblade Chronicles X was like their big thing right now. It's splattered all over their website, and we don't have a guarantee for an upgrade for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition yet. So I thought that was kind of weird that we didn't have that, because that game, people were talking about a 60 FPS mode being written into the coding and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm like, Switch 2 is as powerful as it's leading on to be, then, that should be no problem for that game. So I definitely think, I don't know, Nintendo definitely needs to just focus on getting a lot of this information corrected, and they have. They had to do a ton of cleanup on the whole cartridge thing, because at first it seemed like a one-off, like they were trying to stop people from trading them in, and then they said no, it's just now it's just, oh, it's tied to that cartridge, so you can trade it in with the cartridge, whatever. We'll see how that works out, because I'm like, does the print fade? Like, is it a digital code? Like, I don't understand why the code isn't just, like, it says like code in the box or something. So I don't understand, if the code is tied to the physical cartridge, why the code isn't just loaded on the cartridge itself. Like,
Are you talking about for like the DLC and stuff?
huh?
Are you talking about like for like the DLC? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, like, how it says, like, the ones that are like, oh, it has a game code in the box or whatever, because it doesn't contain the entire game on the cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, that seems weird to me if it's physically written in there, because that's gonna fade over time.
Is it a size thing? Like they just couldn't fit the entire game on the cartridge?
Yeah. So they couldn't fit it, or at least they didn't want to, for whatever reason. Some games, people are like, that's kind of weird, because like, if you could fit all of Cyberpunk on a 64 cartridge, then why can't a lot of these other games that definitely seem smaller?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Maybe
that's another thing.
Lack of compression or inability to compress their games, because I've seen games that are definitely like smaller than, say, like a Ubisoft or some game that are like bigger, and I'm like, there's no way this should be like 68 gigabytes. Like, no, this small game, it's just like the lack of experience with compressing their games. I don't know if that's like an issue or something.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I don't know what the issue is, because definitely, like I said, seems like some games should fit and some games that should fit are not, and then some games that shouldn't fit are fitting on a single cartridge. So again, like I said, I feel like they really need to just focus on cleaning all that up. Like I said, to me, I think it's just a bad idea. If the code is just written in there, that seems really weird. If, like I said, because according to them, it seems like it's tied to that specific cartridge. So I just feel like when you load that cartridge in, it should just give you a prompt and ask you if you want to download the game, the rest of the game. So I don't know why what this whole code in the box thing, like, is just weird to me. But yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. Like I said, so far the launch lineup is not really impressive to me. I have Mario Kart 8 or whatever. I have probably played Mario Kart 8 a total of like 2 hours, and I've owned it twice. I sold it because I didn't play it, and then Priscilla got mad that I didn't have it, so I went and bought it back. So, because like the kids wanted to play it or something, like one time when we went camping or something. So like it's just like I don't know. I hate it because it's like I hate having games that I don't really play like that. So like having a game, it's like Smash Bros, right? Like a lot of people talk about Smash Bros, and most people don't. They own it, but they don't really play it. Um, they don't really play it unless they have people over, or it's game night, stuff like that. Like these very special occasions, as opposed to all these other games that I play all the time. So yeah, like right now they don't really have anything that captures me like that. Like I said, outside of Bravely Default, um, the only real reason I'm not really going crazy about like, dang, this seems like a wasted purchase is because I know there will be games in the future that will entice me. And like I said, Priscilla's the one buying it, so it's like, all right, cool, you want to purchase it, so I'm not buying it, so I just get to play it. So it's not
Okay,
on
listen,
me.
you say that, you say that, but I know you'll be the one taking pictures of it though and posting it. Like I got Switch
I
too,
mean, of
but like,
course. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be the one playing it. Like I know I
well,
will.
of course, yeah,
Yeah.
fraud.
I mean,
Just
I'm gonna
make
have
sure
my
y'all put
Bravely
fraud
Default.
alert. Under
Hold
Nate's
on, hold on,
Twitter, when he posts the Switch 2, like he bought it,
hold
just
on,
hit him with the fraud alert in the comments. That's
hold
all
on.
I need to
I
do.
bought the original Switch and the Switch
Oh,
OLED,
okay. Well, this
and
is the Switch
she
2.
plays
This is
mine,
the Switch
so
2,
that's
though, sir.
perfectly fair.
Ah, it's not the same.
But yeah, like I said, I think they did exactly what they needed to do, and Nintendo
Yeah.
knows their audience. That's why you get all this snappy and these snarky remarks from like Doug Bowser and the rest of them, because they know that most of these people are like that stupid Nintendo God account running around, in the ultimate defense force mode, doing backflips like Kofi, for this $80 defense, that they got going, worrying about everybody spending money on other games, talking about how the $80 for the standard edition is not a problem. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But yeah, overall, like I said, great showing from them. They did what they needed to do. Not necessarily specifically for me, not yet, because like I said, for the most part, for me, the only thing Nintendo really produces nowadays that I like are RPGs. Somebody said this saying, and I thought it was perfect the other day. I grew up with Nintendo. Nintendo did not grow up with me. So the majority of the games that Nintendo produces these days, I just really do not care. They do not appeal to me in any sense of the word. It's really just nostalgia for a lot of other people that I don't have for a lot of these franchises. But when it comes to Monolith Soft and the Xenoblade series and some of the third party, RPG support that they've had, yeah, I'm all about that. But yeah, overall, like I said, good showing from Nintendo, and we'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, I definitely no. I said it here first. They will not, pertaining to particularly maybe if there's some other pandemic or something. Outside of that, Nintendo will not see 150 million out of this device. No way. So
Okay.
yeah, we will see.
We'll see. All right. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very wide array of differing opinions on the Nintendo, and I think that kind of reflects the community, game community currently. You got people who are for it, some people who are against it, some people who are like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm getting it anyway. It's just everybody's kind of, every which way when it comes to the Switch 2 currently. But I think, like along the lines of I think it will sell well. I don't think it'll reach the status of Switch 1 because like we said, like a lot of their success was catapulted with the unfortunate pandemic we had when gaming was on a rise for those 2 years that people were shut in and couldn't leave. And then a lot of new people were introduced into gaming through that. So I don't think it will necessarily reach the same success Switch 1 does, but I still think it will definitely be a very good selling console for Nintendo. It will be nowhere as bad as like the Wii U or anything like that, right?
Yeah,
But yeah,
agreed.
does anybody
Which
have anything else to add?
which
Oh, go ahead.
which might be the reason why they're price gouging so much, because they know it's not gonna do the same numbers, so
Oh
they're just
yeah,
gonna maximize their profits basically.
yeah, man, that's a good
Yeah,
point. Could
that's true.
definitely well be. But yeah, okay, so that's the Switch 2, ladies and gentlemen. The last topic for the evening will be a short one. It'll be about the announced Xbox showcase coming in. It's June, right? I probably should have looked
Yep,
that up
June.
before I said that.
Yeah, it's June.
June. Okay, so we have a Xbox showcase announced for June. It'll showcase first and third party partners with Xbox, and it will also have, in similar fashion to what Xbox has been doing these past few years, it will have a standalone directly after with Outer Worlds 2. Getting its own kind of direct, which is cool. Xbox has been doing
Mhm.
a lot with, as far as the we hush, as far as the Western RPGs goes. Xbox has been releasing a lot of those with Avowed earlier this year, and then now Outer Worlds 2. So yeah, that's June 8th. So yeah, what are you guys' predictions, or what are you looking forward to, if anything, to see during this Xbox showcase? I know for a lot of us, last year, and what we were most looking forward to for was like South of Midnight and Doom. So are you guys looking forward to maybe seeing something that we haven't seen from Xbox, or maybe seeing some more gameplay, or a release date for something that we have already seen? Omar, I'm gonna go to you first.
Or
Okay, Omar
not.
fell asleep. Oh man, I gave Omar the mic and he just
Yeah,
passed
I was like,
out.
Oh
or not.
shit! I thought I was talking, but
Even
my mic was muted.
oh,
Sorry about that.
Oh,
no,
Uh,
you're good.
would it be funny
clock.
if he fell asleep?
Something.
That was accusing
A
me
clock.
falling asleep, and then he fell asleep.
Clock Revolution
Shameful.
is one I'm interested in. I'm curious
Okay.
when they're gonna be released. Now the South of Midnight. That's my next game that I'm curious about. Other than that, are
What's out of
we?
midnight?
I said now that South of Midnight is released. That's my main focus now, Clockwork Revolution. Other than that, can we please finally unveil Everwild? Is it time?
Oh, okay. Man.
Yeah,
Xbox,
that the game is
is
dead.
it finally time to show us what Everwild is?
I mean, Rare is following suit in their name. You're rarely gonna see this game, so
Also, Hero Down Under said that
I
Gears,
got a little
Halo,
chuckle
and
from you.
Starfield for PS5. I'm curious what we're gonna see for PS5. Uh,
You're gonna be like you gonna be a super pony and be like, I wonder what we're gonna get for PlayStation. God. Okay, Omar. Um.
I
So
am
is that it? You
not
just want Clockwork?
expecting South of Midnight to hit PlayStation. Nah, I don't think. I'm curious what that game gonna
Hmm.
sell. But
Yeah.
going back
Well.
to the conversation, I'm curious what this.
Bruh, Henry said he forgot about everyone.
I'm curious what he's gonna.
Xbox
Well,
did too.
I think Xbox even forgot about it, which is why the game got rebooted allegedly 3 to 4 times. So yeah, go figure. But yeah, I'm going back to Xbox. I'm actually more curious about the surprises. The last surprise was Ninja Gaiden 4.
Mm.
What do you have for us, Xbox?
You think
Show
we're
us.
gonna get another shadow drop, as the Xbox fans like to
Um,
love to
I
They
don't
love
cheer
the
about?
shadow drop.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know when normally they do that. If that's their time, then maybe a shadow drop. Who knows? But they just released South of Midnight. Would they shadow drop something that's so close to it?
I mean, isn't the rumor that they're gonna do the what's it, the Elder Scrolls 4, the Oblivion remake or something like that, that's supposed to be coming, or remaster or whatever it is? It's supposedly supposed to be dropping in April. I don't know if that counts though, because this is a June showcase. But
Mm,
who knows? Who knows? Xbox rumors are just everywhere and nowhere all at the same time.
yep.
But Weeb, okay, our resident Doom fan. Is there anything else from Xbox that you are looking forward to possibly seeing at this
Hey,
Xbox June
hey,
showcase?
hey, hey! Hold on.
Oh
I'm
man,
I'm not
oh
a
man,
Resident Doom fan. I'm a
oh man.
Wolfenstein fan.
Oh,
I
okay,
tolerate Doom.
okay. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Do you
The
think
way
you think
you
we might
kept
get another
talking, you were
Wolfenstein?
more of a Doom fan than most of the time, but okay.
The fuck, Omar? You don't know me at all.
Okay.
No. Uh, I liked Eternal, which is also the only one I like because I didn't like 2016. I'm not hearing good things about the Dark Ages, which
Oh man.
yeah, I heard I saw some previews of people saying like yeah the whole idea of standing your ground instead of the really movement based gun combat of Eternal yeah isn't really working, but yeah, we'll see.
Oh man.
No, don't destroy my hope.
What your hope?
I
You're
have
you're
so
you're, you're
I
not
have high hope
you
for Doom.
you haven't even played Eternal. What are you talking about?
Which one?
Eternal.
Oh, Intel. Never mind. I had. I thought you were talking about the next Doom. My bad.
Yeah,
He
I
is.
was talking about that.
Yeah, no, I
I
know
But
was
he's
this
saying,
is what
comparing
why
it
I
do you
to
have?
said.
Eternal,
But
which you have no reference for because you didn't play Eternal.
but this is what I said. This Doom is gonna be the first Doom I'm gonna complete. I literally said that when they showcased it.
Yeah, yeah, and it might be the worst one. But,
This is
right.
why I am.
Um.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I will go ahead. Thank you, Omar.
I hate you, but okay.
Love you too, Omar. Um. Yeah. I guess the only real game they have announced that I'm really yeah with aside from what's coming out this year, what I want to know more about is Fable.
Oh yeah.
I want to know when it's coming out, and you know, give us like a lengthy chunk of gameplay because right now it's really like you have to sort of uh, uh, squint and see. Oh yeah, this is gameplay. I want to see more about it because it has the potential to be really really fun.
Mm,
And that's the only one that I at the moment at least was announced what that I'm really excited for. Um,
okay.
but yeah, what's not announced? I would love to see them coming up with, hey guys, here's Wolfenstein 3 because they
Hey, hell yeah.
it indie is out there, is coming to PlayStation, so they don't have to promote that anymore. We know that Doom is coming. Drop a teaser trailer of Wolfenstein 3 because that's the real meat. Like that's the real, uh, you know, FPS king that Xbox has. And yeah, I mean, if that's coming out, I'll get that day one because I love the new class so much. It's one of the best shooters that I've played, and I've played plenty. I absolutely love the story, love the gameplay. And yes, I know Youngblood was a bit of a mixed bag, but I mean, that wasn't like a full-fledged title. So and it was very clear that they were sort of almost trying to go for like a service game route, even though it wasn't a service game. And there's probably got some directives from Bethesda or from ZeniMax, like, yeah, we need to make some more money. But I mean, that's fine now because they're with Xbox, with Microsoft, so don't have to allegedly worry about that. Um, but yeah, I mean that will be my of the games that we know are probably coming. That would be my most anticipated announcement. And yeah, I mean that this is wishful thinking, but scale down.
Oh
Because
Oh
man.
God, I hate you so much, but I wish for it
yeah,
so much.
but I love the fact that Kamiya
Well,
is sort of
apparently,
flirting with Phil, like, hey, let's make it happen now.
yeah,
Now no longer
apparently.
platinum. Let's
So,
make it happen.
what do you believe? Do you believe it's gonna be a thing or no?
No, I don't think I believe it's going to be a thing because that would actually require for Microsoft to actually take a risk again, and they're not going to do it. Um, but if we're talking about dreams and hopes and whatever, yeah, that will be the thing because again, I think that's the biggest injustice that has been done to us by Microsoft for not uh, not actually releasing that game, because I think you agree you were in the same boat, Omar. You would have bought an Xbox for that game.
Yeah,
I,
Scalebound,
I,
absolutely.
I was considering getting the one for that, you know, but it didn't happen, and that's why I never bothered with it. Um, yeah, I guess that's third party. If you're gonna get something, but let's say more realistic, I don't know, maybe the Resident Evil 5, remake.
I can't see that on Xbox. Don't.
Why not?
Is that not a PlayStation with Capcom? PlayStation?
They had partnerships with Capcom is not exclusive to
No, I
PlayStation.
know they're not exclusive, but when it comes to marketing, right? I think PlayStation has that,
No, they're
right?
not.
No, they.
No, they're
Okay.
not. No. And I think they did with 5. I think that was heavily marketed by
Yeah,
Xbox, if I
that
remember
was
correctly.
Xbox.
Yeah, so it would make perfect sense. The same way Ninja Gaiden, or Gaiden, whatever, was announced in the last showcase, and that was also at that time like an exclusive Xbox game. So that would make sense if they and again, it's not going to be exclusive, but it's gonna
I'll take it
them
anywhere
having
they
the
get it.
marketing rights. That would make
Hell
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd be up on my feet with that.
Ninja Gaiden was such a power move, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise. All right. Well, Nate, how are we feeling about the Xbox showcase? What are you expecting or hoping to see in June?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of with Weeb on the Fable thing. I think we definitely need to see more of it. Like, we've said, at least a consistent set of gameplay that isn't chopped and screwed, and all kinds of crazy. And, if you blink, you miss it. Um,
Mm.
I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. I'm looking forward to them. The other thing, obviously, that's been in the dark for way too long, and I really hope they step it up like I hope they will. After being in the dark this long, but
Yeah.
State of Decay 3,
Yes.
yeah,
A man
they,
after my own heart right there. Yes, absolutely. That's what I want.
yeah, yeah, that's the big one. Like, I want to see better building mechanics with your forts. I want to see that expanded. Really see a reason to have like a medical doctor and maybe an engineer and all these different people with all these different skills. Like, just really building up like a base of operations to really work from, and really just building on that original gameplay from from 2. So yeah, I'm really hoping that we see that. Like I said, the alleged in-game whatever we saw from it last time, that looked really really good. I hope it looks at least that good. I think as long as they've been working on it, the amount of money Microsoft has been pumping into it, I think it should. And I think it would do a world of good if it did look that good. It's a game that, as much as they want a games, not necessarily like almost like a live service, but like games that are continuously updated and so on and so forth. I think that game has the potential to give so much, right? Like, you can go all around the world. You can have bases and maps in any place on the planet because it's the apocalypse. Like, you could, go all over the world. Like, there's so much you could do with it. That's what makes me so excited about State of Decay 3. So many different weapons, customization. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. Like we always talk about Fortnite, right? Like, I mean, you don't necessarily like it, right? But you are like, dang man, they do so much to constantly keep compelling people to want to play, right? They're doing all these collabs and all this other stuff. Again, this is something that they could see or get to with State of Decay, with certain brands, clothing, weapons manufacturers, like all kinds of cool stuff they can add to this game that would just bring it to the next level in this, and not just be another zombie game, right? Like, they could really put so much more into it. Um, Bring that RPG aspect, to it, building out your character. What is your character really capable of, right? So I'm hoping, we really get to see that, and I hope they really flesh it out that way. So we'll see what what they do. That's probably my biggest thing next to Fable, because like I said, we really haven't gotten to see that. And that last snippet we did see that was supposed to be in engine looks so good. So I hope it looks like that. I want to play it maxed out on my PC with everybody. Just really get into experience in this game to the fullest. So that's probably my biggest thing. And then, like you guys said, the surprises, right? Because I mean, the last showcase they had, at least in Japan, we got to see that new indie, the Threads of Time or whatever. Like that was great. Like I mean, that's not their game, but again, it was a surprise at their showcase, right? So I'm always interested to see the surprises that they show. Xbox has honestly been getting kind of better at that, showcasing a lot of what they can really do. So at least bring to the table or make sure these games are secured for Xbox and PC and so on and so forth. So those are definitely my biggest things. And like I said, the surprises are always fun. I don't really know who else. I mean, they've got so many studios now. I'm sure there's something in the rotation that has yet to be shown. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's probably the main two things I'm looking for. I don't. Most of the other stuff has come out. So, and by then Doom will have been out too. So again, nothing to see with that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. As far as me, I'm pretty much in line with you and Nate. Yeah, I definitely want to see more Fable, but I have a feeling we're probably gonna have to wait till February for their developer direct. Just because I think what was it, Jason Schreier that said the game was internally delayed to 2026. So I don't know if they want to show it yet or if they want to wait till like February when they do the breakdown of the games coming at the beginning of the year for them. I will take it though if they want to show it off in June or whatever. I will absolutely take it. But I just have a feeling that they're just gonna wait just because they have like a lot of games that they're trying to get out this year, so they'll probably
Yeah,
focus just on those. Um, but yeah, I absolutely want to see State of Decay 3. We've been waiting a long time for this one. Like ever since we initially saw it in 2020. We've gotten snippets here and there of news about the update for State of Decay 3, but again, it's been like 5 years up to this point where we really haven't got anything like substantial as far as like at least a gameplay clip or something from this game. And State of Decay is one of those IPs that literally has so much potential to be like this great online survival zombie game that you play with your friends. Like you said, there's just so much that can be added to this game to make it the
mm-hmm.
game that we know it can be. And if they
Exactly.
get that formula right, they're gonna have a great game on their hands. So yeah, I definitely want to see some more of State of Decay 3. I want to, like I said, I'll take Fable. I don't know if we're gonna get it, but I will absolutely take some Fable. I would also love to see some Perfect Dark. What's going on with that? We did see
Oh
like a
yeah,
little bit. Yeah, we also saw a little clip of that. What was it,
completely
last
forgot
year?
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see?
yeah. I
Yeah,
did forget about
see some
Perfect Dark.
Joanna Dark, you know what I'm saying? That looked good when they finally did show like a little bit of the gameplay for that. So
It
I
did.
would
Crystal
love to see
Dynamic
some
been
more of
busting
that.
they behind on that. Shout out to
Oh
them.
yeah. Exactly, that quadruple A game going on. So yeah, I gotta see some more of that. Um, what else? I would love to see some more Gears E Day. There's the rumor back and forth about whether it's coming this year or not. It keeps saying, oh,
Yeah.
it's 2025. Oh, no, it's next year. Oh, no, it's 2025. So, I don't care either way. Like I said, we all of us in here have a long list of games for 2025, right? So it's like even if it doesn't make it, it's fine. But I like I would love to see it if it does make it cool. I'll be there day one to play it. It looks great. It looks gritty. It looks dark. It looks like what Gears used to be back in the
Yeah.
day of the heyday of the trilogy.
Do you
Looks like
think
it's gonna.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be
go ahead.
day one on PlayStation?
Mm, I don't know. I think it really depends on if they get this Gears remaster thing that's supposedly supposed to be coming out. Um, I don't know. I could see it coming to PlayStation because, like I said, if they get that trilogy and that releases on PlayStation, that could be a good way to kind of set up because this is like a prequel game. Supposedly, it's supposed to be back when everything happened with Marcus Venus and everything like that. So I could see it come into PlayStation, but again, it's also it's also different factors of whether or not the coalition are equipped to develop on another platform like that too, because you have to factor that in too. So I don't know. Um, it could go either way. Like I could see it go either way. Um, but either way, I'm
Gotcha.
playing the game day one.
Oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
regardless, yeah, I'm definitely playing that day one. But trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it as far as like what I'm
You're
really
not
looking
gonna talk
forward
about
to.
Everwild? How dare you? But yeah, no,
I
real
was like,
tough
no,
stuff.
it's like none of us even know what the hell that game is supposed to be.
Yeah, I feel you,
Um,
but this is why I'm so excited about it. I do want
Because you don't
for
know what it is.
for the game for the Fable. I want them to finally showcase to us difference between good and evil. What
yeah,
what's gonna be? I
yeah. I can't wait. It feels like they put a lot of love into Fable, like from like as far as like the story and the character development goes. It looked like they like the Forza team. I forgot what the studio. What's the studio that's making this?
Playground.
Um, Playground. Thank
playground,
you.
yeah.
It seems like they really know. I don't want to speak on it definitively because obviously none of us have gotten our hands on it. But from the snippets that we've seen, it seems like they really captured the spirit of what Fable is, the kind of funny, witty, magical, almost like Shrek kind of universe humor. Like I hope from what I've seen, I hope it looks like it's a good sign for what's to come with Fable because it like we've said, it could be something big. Like it could be a huge IP for Xbox if they get this right. Because I think if they get this right, this could probably be their big game of the generation that they've been looking for for all these years. That they keep naming every other AAA game, the game of the gen, and hoping it lives up to that. I think that Fable has the potential to be that if Playground gets this right. Um, but yeah, so yeah, June, and it's a digital only event, and that is another bit of information that people were surprised about. As I heard a lot of people were like kind of getting ready to book tickets and plane tickets, hotel rooms, and everything like that because this was like the 10th anniversary for Xbox or the event or whatever, and Xbox announced it's digital only, and it kind of came with a little bit of backlash. People were confused. They were like, "It's kind of the 10th anniversary. Why would you do this? It doesn't really make sense." But I don't know. I feel like in this kind of climate right now, with everything going on, I think Xbox just doesn't really want to do a live event as of right now. I mean, I feel like especially the way people handled it when Indiana Jones was announced for PlayStation, at Jeff
Yeah.
Keighley event, people did not really take that too kindly. And I think there's going to be a lot more of that at this June showcase. Not necessarily something as big as Indiana Jones, but like Xbox has said they're not really going to shy away from saying that games are coming to PlayStation like they used to, right? Like they used to, like when they were doing kind of multi-plat games where there'd be like Minecraft or the other IPs that they had that were third party, they would just, say Xbox at the show, but later down the line, obviously the same day on Twitter or something, they would say, all platforms. But they didn't really say it at the show. But Xbox has kind of reiterated that they're not going to be doing that anymore, that they're going to be announcing that stuff for PlayStation at their shows. So I just think they're just kind of trying to like chill a little bit and allow this transition to happen without the fans there, and because the people who are buying these tickets are going to be like the ultimate of fanboys, right? Those are usually people that go to these events, right? The extreme fans. So I think they're just trying to kind of like separate themselves a little bit, like, listen, this is going to happen, we don't want any kind of negativity around it, you guys being upset, whatever have you. So we're just going to have it digital, and then maybe the next event we'll do live again. I don't know, I'm just saying shit. This is just a prediction. I don't know anything that's going on in Xbox. But yeah, it's very interesting that they did make this a digital event. We'll see if this trend continues. They did say that they were going to have another event that was going to be like live with fans at a later date or something. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Xbox has to show. It's interesting that nobody was really in the group said anything about Outer Worlds 2. The one that they're
I
having the
don't
solo.
care about
Is
that
anybody looking
game.
forward? I think Nate, are you looking forward to that? I know you're, or
I
Did you
mean,
play Outer Worlds 1?
Outer Worlds. So the problem with Outer Worlds 1 for me is that I enjoyed it, and as much as I'm looking forward to 2, I definitely do not plan to play it without beating 1. I think it
Okay.
looks good. The bit I did watch the 11-minute gameplay. It looks good. So I don't know. It's kind of a known factor for me, so I feel like I don't need to see more of it. Like I know what I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Just better of the first one. The big thing for me, and like I said, the thing that stopped me from beating the first one is just the whole non-exact response thing. So I kind of hope they tone that down. Because they did tone it. They did not do that in Avowed. Where like I was saying, the dialogue tree. So like if I'm like my character's like, all right, that's cool. Like that's what it says on screen. Then my character says something entirely different, almost like when I select that option, and I hated that because it caused me to reload so many times, and that's why I never beat the first one. So despite it being very fun, so yeah, I am looking forward to it. Honestly, I'll probably play it initially on Game Pass, and then I'll probably, if it's as good as the first one, I'll probably pick it up for PS5 in the future when it has the complete edition or whatever. Like I have the Spacious Choice edition now on PS5, and I'll probably go from there. But I also played it on PC, so I played it on both. It's a lot of fun. I mean, Obsidian does really good work. Um, I hope this is their best work. My biggest thing with them from Avowed was the ending, like just kind of dragged. So hopefully they can nail that down with this, and this will be their best work yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not the biggest, like I said, Western RPG fan. I have my favorites with like The Witcher and things like that. City Project Red, particularly. Not really the biggest, Bethesda Obsidian fan. But Outer Worlds 2 looked pretty good. I do like the art style of it. I didn't get a chance to look at the little deep dive gameplay they did recently. I do want to go back and look at that. I might give it a try. I don't know if, and you can let me know about this, NA, if Outer Worlds 2, like it kind of like, is it like a straight up continuation of 1? Like, do you have to play 1 to play 2, or do you know if it's like a separate kind of thing?
I haven't seen the confirmation of if it is, but I imagine it will be, mainly
Okay.
just because um there was something, I think it was in the secret level or something we watched
Yeah, the
where it
secret
was
level. Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
it's
was
like
secret
the
level.
key. Yeah, the key you're gonna want to know is kind of like there, right? Like even if it's not a direct story or you're not playing the same person, you're gonna want to understand the world as much as possible, and that's kind of where I'd imagine you would still want to play one first,
Okay.
just to get established with the world and the companies, because the companies are so important in this, because the whole frontier is, obviously as we've seen in that thing, it's being managed or mismanaged by
Mhm.
some of these companies out in the frontier, and you're either living the life and you're doing really well, or you're at the bottom like old boy was in the thing that we watched. So yeah, yeah,
The first one isn't that long, so
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's not that long.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I might go ahead and play that. It's really gonna depend on how I feel about 2. And if it's something that I'm interested in to pick up, is whether I'll go back and play 1 or not. But yeah, that's the Xbox showcase. Okay. Xbox, they've come a long way over the years.
They
Like,
have.
you know,
They have.
3 or 4 years ago, we definitely wouldn't have been talking about what we're looking forward to. We would just been like, so what do y'all think is gonna
Like,
show up?
nah.
If anything, you think anything's gonna come?
Yeah.
Like, you think they're just gonna pull something
I
out their
th- I
pocket?
think
But
I think the key is like the key to take away from like at least our show anyway is like actual gamers, like everybody wants everybody wants Xbox to land that Uncharted, that you know The Last of Us, that Spider-Man 2, like everybody wants that from them, but we can't will it into existence. Like they got to make the game at the end of the day. So it's like we're excited for all the prospects of all these things, but again, you got to land it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, yep.
Wait, so you telling me people don't hate Xbox?
No, we definitely don't.
They don't want Xbox to fail? Damn. And here I
Yeah,
was,
I mean, according to all these Xbox shows, we all hate Xbox and want it to
and
fail,
here I
but
was
you know,
practicing to hate on Xbox so much. Damn. Okay. Okay.
No, no, I do, I
I
do, I
thought I
do.
got the memo, but
We've
apparently.
actually.
But that's because I bought one, so I have every right to want to
Okay,
fail.
yeah, you have
Listen, I've
you
personally
have
invested in this.
you have right to hate. Then you bought it.
That is very true. That is very true. Weeb's one of the only
War,
ones that's
yo,
kind of
War wanted killing
I
me.
can't win
Xbox has
against
come a
that.
long way. He says more like Xbox has bought a lot of stuff.
chill. I'm trying to give him some kind of kudos over here, Wara. Like, damn.
You're not
Oh
wrong. You're not
man.
wrong. Xbox has definitely bought a lot of stuff, man. They gotta get some of these people fully integrated, you know?
What I wanna is not.
They just finally started using their pockets, I feel like, Microsoft forgot they had those for a minute when it comes to Xbox, but they finally decided to, reach in there and be like, all right, I guess we'll get you some freaking publishers and developers, I guess.
What I
So
wanna is
we'll
taking no
see.
prisoners with this one.
Hopefully it pays off for them. Because so far, it's been good, but like Nate said, it's really hasn't been that groundbreaking like that like how PS4 was like just back to back just essential bangers that those must plays. Xbox really hasn't had that yet, but again, that's why I was talking about and what we was talking about, like that Fable could potentially be that for them. So I'm hoping that they kind of have what PlayStation had, where it was like the last couple years is just the bangers really start showing for them.
I
But
was
at
I
the end of
was
the day,
hoping they
we'll
would
see.
start at midnight, but hey, here we are.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see, we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, that ends the Otter Players Podcast, episode 58. Thank you for joining me. I've been your host, Morgan, and with my fellow co hosts, we're going to go ahead and do our outros and get out of here. So, Weeb, where can the people find you?
I don't want to be found.
You now
Uh,
you're
I'm gonna
copy now
find
you're
you.
copying
God.
Morgan. Stop it.
God.
yeah, but she's the host, so she can't complain. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome, and the same for Blue Sky, which is the nicer, version, the denazified version of Twitter.
Absolutely.
Let
Right.
let
Um,
sexism,
yeah.
racism, and all that jazz. Yeah.
hmm And of course, Auto Nation.
Otter
Otter
Nation.
Nation.
All right, Omar, where can the people find you, good sir?
Shout out to you for hosting. Shout out to me for being the actual host. But yeah, now you can find me at Carbon Scott Jump on Twitter. It has like potential to stream out. Looking forward to Expedition 33. Can't wait.
Hell yeah. Expedition 33
Absolutely.
right around the corner. All right, and Nate, where can the people find you?
Yeah, as usual on at the Real Innate on Blue Sky and Twitter. Uh, but typically, as I always say, you can find me playing these games because that's the goal. What? Why is every? I'm sorry. I'm just randomly concerned because everybody seems to be running across the field for some reason, and the only thing I could think of is that somebody had the baby and something happened.
Yeah, you might want to go out there and
So
check that.
yeah, I don't know what is happening.
All right,
So
well,
I'm gonna
while
figure.
Nate does that, I'm going to do my
But yeah,
outro.
I'm yeah. Before I go, Outer Nation.
Otter Nation.
Auto Nation.
All right, you guys can find me on Twitter also at Chill Bandit. But like Nate said, I'm mostly just gonna be playing games right now. I'm gonna be on my Xbox account, hopefully finishing South of Midnight really soon. Not a crazy long game, so that should be done. And then back on PSN, finishing Assassin's Creed, hopefully getting that plat pretty soon. And then, as we all said, we're all gonna be on Expedition 33 in a couple weeks. So that's all. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, Otter Nation.
Auto Nation.
Alternation it
All right,
is.
and we're out.
And